Preface of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy Mackay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Preface. 300 years alive on the 23rd of April, 1916, the memory of Shakespeare calls creatively upon a self-destroying world to do him honor by honoring that world constructive art of which he is a master architect. Over seas the choral hymns of cannon acclaim his death. In battle trenches artists are turned subtly ingenious to enter his art. War, lust, and death are risen in power to restore the primeval reign of Setebos. Here in America, where the neighbouring waters of his vexed Bermoothes lie more calm than those about his own native isle, here only is given some practical opportunity for his uninterrable spirit to create new splendid symbols for peace through harmonious international expression. As one means of serving such expression, and so, if possible, of paying tribute to that creative spirit in forms of his own art, I have devised and written this masque, at the invitation of the Shakespeare Celebration Committee of New York City. The dramatic symbolic motive of the masque I have taken from Shakespeare's own play The Tempest. Act I, Scene 2. There, speaking to Ariel, Prospero says: "Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible to enter human hearing, was hither brought with child, and there was left by the sailors. Thou wast then her servant, and for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthly and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hests, she did confine thee, by help of her most potent ministers, and in her most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain. Then was this island, save for the sun that she did litter here, a freckled whelp hag born, not honoured with a human shape. That Caliban whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowest what torment I did find thee in. It was a torment to lay upon the damned. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out. It was mine art. There, in Prospero's words, and Shakespeare's, is the text of this masque. The art of Prospero I have conceived as the art of Shakespeare in its universal scope, that many-visioned art of the theatre which age after age has come to liberate the imprisoned imagination of mankind from the fetters of brute force and ignorance. That same art, which being usurped or stifled by groping part knowledge, prudery, or lust, has been botched in its ideal aims, and, like fire ill handled or ill hidden by a passionate child, has wrought havoc, hypocrisy, and decadence. Caliban, then, in this masque, is that passionate child-curious part of us all, whether as individuals or as races, grovelling close to his aboriginal origins, yet groping up and staggering, with almost rhythmic falls and backslidings, toward that serener plane of pity and love, reason and disciplined will, where Miranda and Prospero commune with Ariel and his spirits. In deference to the master originator of these characters and their names, it is, I think, incumbent on me to point out that these four characters, derived but reimagined from Shakespeare's The Tempest, become, for the purposes of my masque, the presiding symbolic dramatis persona of a plot and conflict which are my own conception. They are thus no longer Shakespeare's characters of The Tempest, though born of them and bearing their names. Their words, save for a very few song snatches and sentences, and their actions are those which I have given them. The development of their characters accords with the theme, not of Shakespeare's play, but of this masque, in which Caliban's nature is developed to become the protagonist of aspiring humanity, not simply its butt of shame and ridicule. My conception and treatment, also, of Setebos, whose name is but a passing reference in Shakespeare's play, the fanged idol, substituted by me for the cloven pine, of Sycorax, as Setebos' mate, in form a super-puppet, an earth spirit rather than witch, from both of whom Caliban has sprung, of the Shakespearean inner scenes, as brief flashing visions in the mind of Prospero, of the yellow sands as his magic isle, the world. These are not liberties taken with text or characters of Shakespeare, they are simply the means of dramatic license whereby my masque aims to accord its theme with the art and spirit of Shakespeare. Shakespeare's own characters, that use his words in scenes of his plays, have then no part in my masque except in the inner scenes, where they are conceived as being conjured by Prospero and enacted by the spirits of Ariel. The theme of the masque, Caliban seeking to learn the art of Prospero, is of course the slow education of mankind through the influences of cooperative art, that is, the art of the theatre in its full social scope. This theme of cooperation is expressed earliest in the masque through the lyric of Ariel's spirits, taken from the Tempest. It is sounded, with central stress, in the chorus of peace when the kings clasp hands on the field of the cloth of gold, and with the final emphasis in the gathering together of the creative forces of dramatic art in the epilogue. Thus its motto is the one printed on the title page, in Shakespeare's words: "Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands." So much for my masque in its relationship to Shakespeare's work and his art. Its contribution to the modern development of a form of dramatic art unpractised by him requires some brief comment. This work is not a pageant in the sense that the festivals excellently devised by Mr. Lewis N. Parker in England, Mr. Lascelles in Canada, or Mr. Thomas Wood Stevens in America have been called pageants. Though of necessity it involves aspects of pageantry, its form is more closely related to the forms of Greek drama and of opera. Yet it is neither of these, it is a new form to meet new needs. I have called this work a masque because, like other works so named in the past, it is a dramatic work of symbolism involving in its structure pageantry, poetry, and the dance. Yet I have by no means sought to relate its structure to a historic form. I have simply sought by its structure to solve a modern and a future problem of the art of the theatre. That problem is the new one of creating a focused dramatic technique for the growing but groping movement vaguely called pageantry, which is itself a vital sign of social evolution. The half desire of the people not merely to remain receptive to a popular art created by specialists, but to take part themselves in creating it. The desire, that is, of democracy consistently to seek expression through a drama of and by the people, not merely for the people. For some 10 years that potential drama of democracy has interested me as a fascinating goal for both dramatist and citizen, in seeking solution for the vast problem of leisure. 2 years ago at St. Louis I had my first technical opportunity, on a large scale, to experiment in devising a dramatic structure for its many-sided requirements. There, during 5 performances witnessed by 500,000 people, about 7,000 citizens of St. Louis took part in my masque, in association with the pageant by Thomas Wood Stevens. In the appendix of this volume a photograph gives a suggestion of one of those audiences, gathered in their public park, in seats half of which were free, half pay seats, to witness the production. That production was truly a drama of, for, and by the people, a true community masque, and it was largely with the thought of that successful civic precedent that the Shakespeare Celebration first looked to Central Park as the appropriate site to produce their community festival, the present masque as the central popular expression of some hundreds of supplementary Shakespearean celebrations. In so doing they conceive the function of a public park, as it is conceived almost universally west of the Eastern States, and almost everywhere in Europe, to be that of providing outdoor space for the people's expression in civic art forms. The sincere opposition of a portion of the community to this use of Central Park would never, I think, have arisen if New York could have taken counsel with St. Louis's experience and its wonderfully happy civic and social reactions. The opposition, however, was strong and conscientious, so that on the same principle of community solidarity which was the raison d'être for their informal application to use Central Park, the Shakespeare Celebration withdrew their wish to use it. To split community feeling by acrimonious discussion was contrary to the basic idea and function of the celebration, which are to help unite all classes and all beliefs in a great cooperative movement for civic expression through dramatic art. One very important public service, however, was performed by this Central Park discussion. It served clearly to point out a colossal lack in the democratic equipment of the largest and richest metropolis of the Western Hemisphere, namely the total lack of any public place of meeting where representative numbers of New York citizens can unite in seeing, hearing, and taking part in a festival or civic communion of their own. New York, a city of 5,000,000 inhabitants, possesses no public stadium or community theater. Little Athens, a mere village in comparison, had for its heart such a community theater which became the heart of civilization. Without such an instrument our own democracy cannot hope to develop that cooperative art which is the expression of true civilization in all ages. Happily for the Shakespeare celebration and its aims, a large measure of solution has at the date of this preface been attained by the gracious offer of the New York City College authorities, through President Mezes, to permit the use of the Loewsohn Stadium and athletic field, temporarily to be converted into a sort of miniature Yale Bowl, for the production of the Shakespeare masque on the night of May 23rd and the following 4 nights. By the brilliant conception and technical plans of Mr. Joseph Urban for joining to the present concrete stadium of Mr. Arnold Brunner its duplicate in wood on the east side of the field, and so placing the stage on its narrower width to the north, there will be created a practical outdoor theatre, remarkable in acoustics, qualified to accommodate in excellent seats about 20,000 spectators, and some 2,000 or 3,000 participants in the festival. If such a consummation shall eventually become permanent there, it will complete the realization of a practicable dream already rendered partly complete by Mr. Adolph Lewison's public-spirited donation of the present concrete structure. Referring to that practicable dream, I wrote 4 years ago in my volume The Civic Theatre: "One day last spring, traversing with President John Finley the grounds lately appropriated, through his fine efforts, by the City of New York for a great stadium at the City College, I discussed with him the splendid opportunity there presented for focusing the popular enthusiasm toward athletic games in an art dramatic and nobly spectacular. This new dramatic art form, then, a technique of the theatre adapted to democratic expression and dedicated to public service, I have called by the name Community Masque, and have sought to exemplify it on a large scale in 2 instances, at St. Louis and at New York." The occasion of this preface is not one to discuss the details of that new technique further than to suggest to the public, and to those critics who might be interested to make its implications clearer than the author and director of a production has time or opportunity to do, that the exacting time limits of presenting dramatically a theme involving many dissociated ages, through many hundreds of symbolic participants and leaders, are conditions which themselves impel the imagination towards creating a technique as architectural as music, as colorful as the pageant, as dramatic as the play, as plastic as the dance. That my own work has attained to such a technique I am very far from supposing. I have, however, clearly seen the need for attaining to it, whatever the difficulties, if a great opportunity for democracy is not to be lost. To see that much, at a time when the vagueness of amateurs, however idealistic in desire, is obscuring the austere outlines of a noble technical art looming just beyond us, may perhaps be of some service. As visual hints to the structure, inner and outer, of the present masque, the charts here published may be suggestive to the reader. To the reader as such it remains to point out one vital matter of technique, namely, the relation of the dramatic dialogue to the masque's production. Even more than a play, if more be possible, a masque is not a realized work of art until it is adequately produced. To the casual reader this masque, as visualized merely on these printed pages, may appear to be a structure simply of written words. In reality, it is a structure of potential interrelated pantomime, music, dance, lighting, acting, song (choral and lyric), scene values, stage management, and spoken words. Words spoken, then, constitute in this work but one of numerous elements, all relatively important. If no word of the masque be heard by the audience, the plot, action, and symbolism will still remain understandable, and, if properly produced, dramatically interesting. Synchronous with every speech occur in production effects of pantomime, lighting, music, and movement with due proportion and emphasis.
Such, at least, is the nature of the technique sought, whether or not this particular work attains to it. A masque must appeal as emphatically to the eye as a moving picture, though with a different appeal to the imagination. Because of this only relative value of the spoken word, there are many producers, theoretical and practical, who believe that the spoken word should be eliminated entirely from this special art of the theatre. Artists as eminent and constructive in ideas as Gordon Craig, and many whom his genius has inspired, advocate indeed this total elimination of speech from the theatre's art as a whole. For them that art ideally is the compound of only light and music and movement. The reason for this, I think, is because the sensibility of those artists is preeminently visual. Moreover, they are relatively inexpert as artists in the knowledge of the technique and values of the spoken word. Being visually expert and creative, they have by their practical genius established a world-wide school of independent visual art, assisted only by mass sounds of music. For them this art has well nigh become the art of the theatre. Yet it is not so, I think, and can never be so, to that watching and listening sensibility for which all dramatic art is created, the soul of the audience. That soul, our soul, is a composite flowering of all the senses, and the lifelong record of the spoken word, reiterated from childhood, is an integral, yes, the most intimate element of our consciousness. The association of ideas and emotions which only the spoken word can evoke is therefore a dramatic value which the art of the theatre cannot consistently ignore. It is chiefly because those artist experts in word values, the poets, who might contribute their special technique to the theatre's art, turn elsewhere creatively, that the field is left unchallenged and open to the gifted school of the visualists. The true dramatic art, which involves ideally a total cooperation, does not and cannot exclude the poet-dramatist. Shakespeare and Sophocles lived before electric light. If they had lived after, they would have set a different pace for Bakst and Reinhardt, and established a creative school more nobly poised in technique, more deeply human in appeal. Now, therefore, when the poets are awakening to a new power and control of expression, here especially in our own country, if they will both learn and teach in this larger school, there rises before us the promise of an art more sensuous, sane, and communal than the theatre has ever known. So, in the pioneering adventure of this masque, which seeks by experiment to relate the spoken word to its larger cooperation with the visual arts, I have devised a structure in which the English language, spoken by actors, is an essential dramatic value. Why, then, take pains, as I have done, to make it relatively non-essential in case it should not be heard? For this reason, that now, at the present temporary and still groping stage of development of community masque organization and production, there can be, in the nature of the case, no complete assurance beforehand of adequate acoustics in setting, or of voices trained to large-scale outdoor speech. But if this be so, would it not be the wiser part of creative valor to adapt my structure wholly to these elementary conditions, risk nothing, and devise simply pantomime? No, for by that principle no forward step for the spoken word could ever be taken. If we are to progress in this new art, we must seek to make producing conditions conform to the spoken play even more than the play to those conditions. And this can be done. It has been done. At St. Louis, the vast amphitheatre for my masque was at first considered, by nearly all who saw it, to be utterly unsuited to the spoken word. Yet, after careful study, experiment, and technical provision for its use, the speech of actors was heard each night by at least 2/3 of the 150,000 listeners. Of the 7,000 actors, only about 15 spoke, but these conveyed the spoken symbolism and drama of the action. In the present masque I have focused the spoken word on the raised constructed stage of wood, A and B in the chart, confined it to the speech of 8 principal acting parts and about 20 other subordinate parts, whose speaking lines from Shakespeare's plays are still further focused at the narrower inner stage, A, in the chart, provided with special sounding boards. On the other hand, for the ground circle of the Yellow Sands, C in the chart, where the thousands of participants in the interludes take part under an open sky, I have provided no spoken words, but only pantomime, mass movements, dances, and choruses. To the reader, then, I would repeat that the words of this printed masque are an essential, though not an exclusive, part of its structure, and are meant primarily to be spoken, not primarily to be read. As in the case of my civic ritual, The New Citizenship, this masque can only have its complete adequate production on a large and elaborate scale. Like the civic ritual, however, which, originally designed for the New York Stadium, is being performed on an adapted scale in many parts of the country, in schools and elsewhere, this masque may perhaps serve some good purpose in being made available for performance in a smaller, simpler manner, adapted to the purposes of festivals during this year of Shakespeare's tercentenary. At the invitation, therefore, of Mr. Percival Chubb, President of the Drama League of America, who first suggested to me the writing of a memorial masque to Shakespeare, the publishers have made arrangements with the officers of the Drama League for making known its availability as stated in their announcement printed at the back of this volume. The accompanying stage designs are the work of Mr. Joseph Urban, the eminent Viennese artist and producer, who has recently become an American, and of Mr. Robert Edmund Jones, designer of the scenes and costumes for Mr. Granville Barker's production of The Man Who Married a Dumb Wife. At the date of this preface, Mr. Arthur Farwell has nearly completed his compositions for the lyric choruses and incidental music of the masque. The choruses will shortly be made available, published by G. Schirmer, New York. With all three of these artists I am fortunate in being associated in preparations for the masque's New York production next May. These preparations have met with many complex difficulties of launching and organization. The time remaining is very brief to accomplish the many-sided community task for which the masque is designed. Only the merest beginnings of so vast a movement can be attempted, but with cooperation and support from those who believe in that task, the producers look forward hopefully to serving, in some pioneering degree, the great cause of community expression through the art of the theatre. Percy Mackaye, New York, February 22nd, 1916. End of preface. Masque Structure, Persons and Presences of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy Mackaye. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Masque Structure. The Action. The action takes place symbolically on three planes. One, in the cave of Setebos, before and after its transformation into the theatre of Prospero. Two, in the mind of Prospero, behind the cloudy curtains of the inner stage. And three, on the ground circle of the Yellow Sands, the place of historic time. The time. The masque proper is concerned symbolically with no literal period of time, but with the waxing and waning of the life of dramatic art, and its concomitant civilization, from primitive barbaric times to the verge of the living present. The interludes are concerned with ritualistic glimpses of the art of the theatre, in its widest communal scope, during three historical periods: 1. Antiquity, 2. The Middle Ages, and 3. Elizabethan England. The epilogue is concerned with the creative forces of dramatic art from antiquity to the present, and by suggestion with the future of those forces. The setting. The setting of the entire masque is architectural and scenic, not a background of natural landscape, as in the case of most outdoor pageants. Being constructed technically for performance on a large scale, by night only, its basic appeals are to the eye, through expert illusions of light and darkness, architectural and plastic line, the dance, color, and pageantry of group movements; to the ear through invisible choirs and orchestra, stage instrumental music, and voices of visible mass choruses in the interludes only. As indicated by the accompanying diagram (time chart) of its inner structure, the masque proper is enacted by a comparatively few, about 30 professional actors, who use the spoken word to motivate the large scale pantomime of their action. The interludes, which use no spoken word but only dance, pageantry, miming, and choruses, are performed by community participants to the number of thousands. The epilogue utilizes both kinds of performers. Corresponding to this inner structure, the outer structure consists of three architectural planes or acting stages, all interdependent. 1. A modified form of the Elizabethan stage, here called the middle stage, B, consisting of a raised platform to which steps lead up from a ground circle, 8 feet below, provided with a smaller curtained inner stage, A, under a balcony on which the upper visions appear, and above which the concealed orchestra and choirs are located. This inner stage is 2 feet higher than the middle stage, from which ramps lead up to it. Shutting it off from the other, its cloudy curtains, when closed, meet at the centre. When they are open, the inner Shakespearean scenes, visions in the mind of Prospero, are then revealed within. Between the raised middle stage and the audience lies the ground circle, in form like the orchestra of a Greek theatre. Here the community interludes take place around a low central altar from which rises a great hourglass flowing with luminous sands. This ground circle is the place of the yellow sands, the outer wave lines of which are bordered by the deep blue of the space beyond. The circle itself, representing the magic Isle of Prospero, the temporal place of his art, is modelled with shadowy contours of the continents of the world. Beneath the middle stage, and between the broad spaces of the steps which lead up to it, from the ground circle, is situated at centre the mouth of Caliban's cell, which thus opens directly upon the yellow sands. All of these features of the setting, however, are invisible when the masque begins, and are only revealed as the lightings of the action disclose them. Persons and presences. 1. Of the masque proper. Speaking persons.
Ariel, read by Christine G.
Sycorax, read by Sonia.
Caliban, read by Craig Franklin.
Prospero, read by Todd.
Miranda, read by Kieran Metz.
Lust, read by Lian.
Death, read by Lian Yao.
War, read by Sonia.
Caligula, impersonated by Lust.
The Emperor, read by Lian.
One in grey, impersonated by Death. Another in grey, impersonated by Caliban. Mute presences. Setebos. Choral presences.
Voices from Within, Spirits of Ariel, and the Chorus, read by Marianne Spiegel.
Voices from Below, Power of Setebos, the Dirge, and the Soldiers, read by Thomas Peter.
Pantomime groups. Lust group, Death group, War group, Roman group, the ones in grey, all impersonated by the powers of Setebos. Transformation choir, Gregorian choir, and the ones in green, all impersonated by the spirits of Ariel. The 9 Muses, Renaissance fauns. 2. Of the 10 inner stage scenes, enacted by the spirits of Ariel. Of these scenes, 8 are spoken scenes taken from plays of Shakespeare. 1, the 6th, is a pantomime devised from a descriptive speech in Henry VIII, Act 1, Scene 1. 1, the 4th, is a tableau scene symbolic of the early Christian Church. Those taken from Shakespeare are printed in black-faced type.
Antony, read by Alan Mapstone.
Cleopatra, read by Sonia.
Charmian, read by Lian.
Eros, read by Lian Yao.
Cressida, read by Lian.
Attendant, read by Daphne Ma.
Pandarus, read by Larry Wilson.
The Boy, read by Lian Yao.
Troilus, read by Alan Mapstone.
Brutus, read by Daphne Ma.
Lucius, read by Lian Yao.
Ghost of Caesar, read by Larry Wilson. Hamlet, read by Larry Wilson.
Horatio, read by Alan Mapstone.
Marcellus, read by Daphne Ma.
Benvolio, read by Alan Mapstone.
Mercutio, read by Larry Wilson.
Romeo, read by Daphne Ma.
Juliet, read by Sonia.
Lorenzo, read by Larry Wilson.
Florizel, read by Daphne Ma.
Perdita, read by Lian.
Orlando, read by Daphne Ma.
Jackus, read by Lian Yao.
The Duke, read by Larry Wilson.
Adam, read by Alan Mapstone.
Sir Hugh Evans, read by Larry Wilson.
Sir John Falstaff, read by Alan Mapstone.
Mrs. Ford, read by Lian Yao.
Mistress Page, read by Sonia.
Mistress Quickly, read by Lian.
Pistol, read by Daphne Ma.
King Henry V, read by Larry Wilson.
3. Of the Interludes. See Appendix. 4. Of the Epilogue. Speaking Persons.
The Spirit of Time, read by Lian.
Shakespeare as Prospero.
Read by Todd.
Pantomime Groups. Theaters, with musicians, dancers, designers, producers, inventors, etc., creators of the art of the theater. Actors, dramatists, spirit trumpeters, announcers of the groups.
End of masque structure and persons and presences.
Prologue of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy MacKay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Prologue. The action begins in semi-darkness, out of which sound invisible choirs. The scene is the cave of Setebos, whose stark-coloured idol, half tiger and half toad, colossal and primitive, rises at centre above a stone altar. On the right, the cave leads inward to the abode of Sycorax. On the left, it leads outward to the sea, a blue-green glimpse of which is vaguely visible. High in the tiger jaws of the idol, Ariel, a slim winged figure, half nude, is held fettered. In the dimness he listens to deep bellowing choirs from below, answered by a chorus of sweet shrill voices from within.
Setebos! Setebos!
Ariel!
Ariel calls aloud.
Oh, my brave spirits!
Setebos, Setebos, over us which art and under, fang of fire from mouth of thunder, hungering good from belly of mire, tiger and toad, Setebos, blood which art on the jungle bloom, sloth in slumber and seed in the womb, which art wondrous over and under us, Setebos, Setebos, thou art Setebos.
Sealed in a starless cell, we are shut from dawn and sky. Ariel, Ariel, why?
Setebos knows, but his jaws fetter me fast. He is dumb, answering never.
We who parch for dew and star, Ariel, Ariel, must we perish where we are? Tell.
Sycorax knows, but he sits there in the cave with her son, mocking us ever.
Ariel!
Call me no more, lest they torment us. I hear them coming now.
Caliban!
Hush!
Gigantic, the twisted form of Sycorax looms from within the rock, calling toward the sea.
Come, fish-fowl, leave thy flapping in the mud, and keep thy father's temple. Call his priests. Thy father, Toad the god, hath double teeth in his 2 heads. The tiger loins of him begot thee in my belly for a cub, to lick his paws and purr, else he may pinch thee behind an eye-tooth, like yon flitter mouse that hangs there wriggling.
So, Sycorax, coming?
Aye, so, crawling still.
Malformed and hissing, Caliban enters on his belly and arms.
Sycorax, see!
What hast thou got thee?
Caliban laughs, half rising, and holds up a wriggling creature.
Got? A little god, a little Caliban. Make him out of mud, see, squeezed it round and slipped him through my fist hole. Me god.
Rising.
See, Sycorax, her grandchild.
'Tis an eel-worm. Fling him to the white bed yonder.
Her form vanishes in the rock. Caliban approaching the idol.
Ariel, here's food for thee, a wormling for thy beak. So, my trap bird, how sayest?
Where the bee sucks, there suck I.
Caliban laughing.
Bee, sayest thou? Still buzzest of thy wings, and eateth there.
In a cowslip spell I lie.
My father's gullet is no cowslip's bell. Shalt lie in the belly of Setebos.
Tossing away the eel.
What waitest for?
I am waiting for one who will come.
I? Who will come?
One from the heart of the world, and he shall rise on tempest of music and in thunder of song.
Caliban gaping.
Thunder and tempest so?
Ariel with ecstasy.
I see him now.
Caliban crouching back.
See him? Where now?
In my dream he bears a star-wrought staff and hooded cloak of blue, and on his right hand burns the sun, and on his left the moon, and these he makes his masks of joy and sorrow.
Where? Mine eyes seeth naught.
Before him comes a mate, a child all wonder, and leads him to this blighted isle.
What for here?
To set me free, and all my airborne spirits, whom Setebos holds prisoned in this earth.
Free? What's that? Free?
What thou canst never be, who never shalt dance with us by yellow sands.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands, curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves' whist, footed featly here and there.
Oh, blast their noises! Stop thy spirit squealing! Their piping itcheth me like hornet stings.
And, sweet sprites, the burthen bear.
Caliban screaming.
Setebos! Squash him!
Powers of Setebos sing below with strident roarings, drowning the song of Ariel's spirits.
Setebos! Setebos! Thou art Setebos!
Caliban exulting grotesquely.
Who'll dance by yellow sands? Who's free now? Spirit. Oh, Caliban can squash their music. Free. And I a god? Bitch born, the son of Setebos. Can howl all hell up. Worship me, thou wings. Praise my toad father in his temple.
The priests of Setebos are lust and death and war. Not Ariel, not Ariel's spirits ever, shall do them honour. One shall come hereafter, whom we now worship, waiting.
Sycorax!
Sycorax reappearing.
Swallow thy croakings, bullfrog. Call the priests, and fill the spirit's nostrils with the reek of Setebos. His blood reigns.
Ariel!
Peace, my brave hearts. Be dumb, but still be dreaming.
Powers of Setebos? Lust, death, war. Ho now! Hither, and do my father's worship.
Ariel stifling a cry. Enter Lust, Death, and War, arrayed as priests of Setebos. Sycorax to Caliban.
Come, toad boy, watch with me within.
Caliban going within the cave as Sycorax disappears.
Free, saith? We'll dance by yellow sands? Now, spirit, dance!
As Caliban goes within, the powers of Setebos come forth. At the altar beneath Ariel, the three priests lead them in ceremonial rites of primeval pageantry and dance, the sacrificial worship of Setebos. Above them Ariel suffers with closed eyes. In their rites Lust pours his libation and lights the altar fire, which when War has made there his living sacrifice, Death extinguishes in darkness. Through the dark, which gradually changes to a glowing dusk, Ariel speaks aloud.
O spirits, I have dreamed, but death has closed my sight in darkness. Spirits, I have begotten sweet joy, but lust hath drowned her in his wine. Yea, I have wove love wings, but war hath robbed them, and riven his lovely body all alive, to feed the hungering flames of Setebos. My spirits, I your master am unmastered. Speak to me, comfort me. Is there no joy, no love, no dream that shall survive this dark? Hath this our isle no king but Caliban? Are there no yellow sands where we shall dance to greet a master of a timeless dawn? Or must there break no morning? Ah, you are dumb still to my doubtings, yet the dark grows pale, and, paling, pulses now with rosier shadows, and now the shadows tremble, and draw back their trailing glories. Hark! All little birds wake in their gloaming. Look! What young Aurora walks in the dusk below, and like a child turns her quick face to listen. Ah!
Below, against the light from the sea, has entered the dim figure he descries.
Who calls?
Spirits, 'tis she. Oh, we have dreamed her true at last. Miranda!
Miranda!
Miranda searching with her eyes.
Earth and air echo my name. Who calls me?
Ariel.
Ariel.
Light and dark spin webs around me. What art thou, voice, and where?
Here, and your servant.
Miranda beholding him.
Oh me, poor spirit, what mouth so terrible utters a voice so tender?
Setebos, god of this isle, holds me in his fangs.
But why?
I will not serve him.
Miranda naively drawing nearer to the huge idol.
Setebos, be kind. Release this spirit.
He hath no ears, nor eyes, nor any sense to know thee by, but only these tusks and claws and his toad belly.
Dost thou suffer so?
Not now.
And hath he held thee long captive?
Since old ocean slime first spawned under the moon, I have awaited thee, and him thou bringest here.
You mean my father, Prospero.
Hail him, spirits!
Prospero!
Yea, many a starry journey we have made searching this isle. At last today, at dawn, I saw its yellow sands, and heard thy voice calling for pity. Now my father is come, and shall release thee.
Where? Where is he?
Here, His cloak is round us now. He holds us now in his great heart, revealing each to each, though he be all invisible.
Re-entering, Caliban comes forward, sniffing and peering at Miranda.
Hath feet and hair, hath bright hair shineth like a fish's tail, hath mouth and maketh small, sweet noises.
Beast, go back!
Miranda staring, amazed.
What's here?
Caliban cometh here to smell what 'tis.
He sniffs nearer, then howls strangely.
Spring in the air, oh!
Alas, poor creature, who hath hurt thee?
Hurt? Who hurteth God? Am seed of Setebos, am Caliban. The world is all mine isle. Kill what I please, and play with what I please. So yonder play with him, pull out his wings, and put 'em back to grow. Where be thy wings, spring of the air?
O Ariel, is this sight a true thing, and speaks truly?
Would you hear and see? 'Tis my master.
'Tis so wonderful, I know not how to be sad.
Caliban in puzzled fascination, staring at Miranda.
The moon hath a face, and smileth on the lily pools, but hath no lily body withal. Thy body is all lilies, and the smell of lily buds, and thy round face a pool of moonbeams.
Miranda, with smile and laughter.
Nay, then look not in, lest thou eclipse the moon.
Sycorax hath no such laughing, soundeth like little leaves i' the rain, hath no such mouth, bright lipped with berries ripe to suck i' the sun. Sycorax!
Who is Sycorax?
Ah, pain!
Oh, she that hath carved Caliban to the bull Setebos, my blood sire.
Caliban pauses at a glowing thought, then cries with sudden exultance.
So shall us twain, Caliban, all o'er this world.
He crouches, then rolls over at her feet.
Laugh, spring of the air, lift so thy lily-pad foot and rub his ear, where the fur tickleth, and let thy Caliban tongue lick its palm.
He lies dog-like on his back and laughs loud.
This wonder grows too wild.
Go, go, oh flee away!
Caliban leaping up.
Away? Aye, so.
He approaches Miranda, who recoils, half fearful.
West where salt water lappeth warm i' the noon, and shore fish breed i' the shoals. West where the sea-bull flat flappeth his fin, and walloweth there his cow, and snoreth the rainbow from his nostrils.
He begins to dance grotesquely about her.
Oh, spring i' the air shall leap, shall roll in the sun, shall dance with lily-warm limbs, shall race with the gulls, shall laugh and call, Come, 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 Caliban. Catcheth who catcheth can, mateth mew, mateth man. Catch, come, Caliban.
Oh, Setebos, let me go free.
Miranda to Caliban.
Peace, dance no more, go hence and leave me.
Caliban staring.
Hence? Aye, both as twain.
Miranda with simple command.
Nay, thou alone.
Caliban with narrowing eyes draws nearer.
Saith what?
Miranda, unafraid.
Go from me.
Caliban stops with a hissing growl.
Sycorax, Sycorax!
Sycorax reappearing.
Mole in the mire, wilt squeak when thou art trod on? Bite, bite, Setebos' son. Let the brave wonder breed of thee.
Aye, mother.
With rising passion to Miranda.
A child shall bear me such as thou, with head of Caliban, no eelworm, nay, a wonder, with lily feet that walk, ho Setebos.
Setebos, mate them at thine altar.
Miranda, fleeing from Caliban, pauses in terror of Sycorax.
Save me!
Setebos, Setebos.
Caliban rushing toward Miranda.
Mine.
Save me, father!
Prospero!
Prospero, hail!
A clap of thunder strikes, rolling in sudden darkness. Lightnings burst from the idol of Setebos. From the flashing gloom, choruses of contending spirits commingle the roar of their deep bass and high-pitched choirs.
Prospero, Prospero, out of our earth-pain raise and array us in splendor of order. Pour on our chaos. Prospero, Prospero, peace to our earth-pain.
Setebos, Setebos, Lord of our earth-bane, loose on his wrath wave the beast of thy jungle. Pour on our pathway, Setebos, Setebos, blood for thine earth-bane.
Amid the tempestuous song, darkness, and thunder, appears on the left a glowing winged throne. On the throne sits Prospero, in one hand a scroll, in the other a miraculous staff. Prospero raising his staff.
Darkness, be light. Tempest, be calm. Miranda.
The scene grows light and is still. Miranda at the steps of the throne.
Father!
Come to me, child.
As she mounts to him gladly.
Sit here beside me.
She sits at his feet, nestling in the folds of his great garment.
My cloak and staff protect thee.
Miranda raising her eyes in dread.
But the wild thing.
Must be transformed. Caliban?
Caliban, crouching at the center, howls terribly.
Oh! Setebos, sire, Sycorax, mother, has swallowed them. Lord Thunder, strike us no more.
I strike no more till time hath need of thunder. Rise now and be tamed, howler at heaven.
Caliban rising, bewildered.
Tamed, say it? What shall it be? That tamed?
That shalt thou learn of Ariel. Now, Ariel?
He looks toward Ariel, still held in the mouth of Setebos. Sycorax lies heaped and still by the altar.
Master!
Sycorax, lo, 'tis dead.
Aye, yo!
The will of Setebos is matched with mine to rule our world. Time shall award the prize, mine own Miranda, to his power or mine. His might is awful, but mine art is deep to foil his power and exalt mine own. Ariel, thy spirits shall help me.
Master, how?
Thou, long time artless, now shalt learn mine art to win my goal, Miranda's freedom. Never till this immortal Caliban shall rise to lordly reason, can Miranda hold her maidenly gladness undismayed. For that I will release thee from those fangs of Setebos.
For that day, master, I've waited long ages, dreaming.
So, wilt give thy promise to learn of me, and teach this monster here?
Oh, set me free to be thy servant ever. Master, I promise.
Fly, run free, unfang him, Setebos.
Prospero raises his staff. Slowly the tiger jaws of the idol open their fangs. Ariel, with a joyous cry, slips into the air, and, as he floats fluttering to the earth, his unseen choir of spirits sing with shrilly gladness.
Prospero! Prospero! Hail!
Ariel dancing on the earth.
Free! Free!
Oh, now his fetid spirits, free them too.
Well urged, mine own Miranda. Setebos, disgorge these long embowelled choirs. Spirits, come forth.
Again Prospero raises his staff. Yawning enormous, the toad mouth of the idol, filled with green and blue light, widens to a lurid aperture, out of which come forth dancing the star-bright spirits of Ariel. As they come, Ariel, springing toward Caliban, cries exultingly,
Now, Caliban, we dance by yellow sands.
Singing as they rush forth, the spirits dart with Ariel swiftly about the grovelling Caliban, and chase him, dodging and whining, down the steps to the ground circle, mottled with its shadowy continents of the world, and rimmed with its long yellow wave lines.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hands, curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves' whist, footed fleetly here and there, and, sweet sprites, the burthen bear. Hark! Hark! Bow wow! The watch-dogs bark. Bow wow! Hark! Hark! I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer cry cock-a-diddle-dow.
Encircling Caliban in their dance, and pelting him with bright handfuls of the yellow sands, they tease and drive him howling into his cave cell, where his dark monstrous shape silhouettes for a moment on the orange-red glow, then vanishes within. As he disappears, to their last bow wow and cock-a-diddle-dow, they hasten back above to Ariel, who leads them before Prospero.
The beast is routed, master. Was't well done?
The routed beast returns. I charge thee, spirit, not to torment, but teach him, for which task thou wilt require mine art. So by its power we will transform this cave of Setebos to be a temple to Miranda. Now let these thy spirits lead her to her shrine yonder, where all her maiden muses wait to make her welcome.
Prospero points to where, on the right, appears Miranda's shrine. From its portals come forth the 9 muses, bearing lutes and pipes. Prospero, turning to Miranda, rises and gives her into Ariel's care.
Child, go with them now, and tarry till I summon.
Sir, I will. I thank you and these spirits, and may we all be saved from Setebos.
Sweet mistress, follow.
To a melodious luting and piping played by the muses, Ariel and his spirits escort Miranda to the centre, where the muses meet and conduct her into the shrine, while Ariel's spirits, at a gesture from him, dart through the centre of the cloudy curtains and disappear.
Now hither, bird, and perch.
Ariel running to him on the throne.
Beside you, master.
Prospero pointing to the ground circle.
Seest yonder yellow sands? There sleep the shores, the cloudy capes and continents of time. There wane and wax eternal tides, that mark the ebb and flow of empires with their foam. There shalt thou see the million-coloured skein whereof I weave mine art. Look well, and learn. For this my art is of no only land or age, but born of all, itself a world, snatched from the womb of history, to survive its mortal mother in imagination. Dost thou attend me?
Word and will, dear master.
At the mouth of Caliban's cell are now visible Lust, Death, and War, who in pantomime indicate to Caliban their conspiracy against Prospero and Ariel.
'Tis well, for thou must prove my pupil. Look, even now the priests of Setebos conspire with Caliban against us. They will compass my fall, Miranda's ruin, and thy bondage, unless mine art can foil them. Therefore now thou shalt behold the pageant of mine art pace from antiquity. First, while yon glass lets flow its yellow sands, behold appear my rites of ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, and while they pass, I will instruct thee on how to use them. Pageant, up here.
A deep gong sounds.
Lo, Egypt comes.
First interlude. Now in succession through the great gates of the ground circle, in colourful incursions of costume and music, appear three main pageant groups that perform, with distinctive artistry of dance, pantomime, mass movement, and choral song, three ritual episodes of the dramatic art of antiquity. The nature of each, by a few brief sentences, Prospero expounds to Ariel, and so to the audience. Concluding, each group of the first two departs from the circle. The first action, a symbolic ritual of Egypt, enters in 7 separate processions which converge at the centre in worship of the golden god Osiris. The second group, expressing the noble zenith of Greek dramatic art, chants, with aspiring athletic dance, the second chorus of the Antigone of Sophocles, celebrating the splendour of man. This action is performed by the altar. With the third enters a contrasted decadence of the theatre's art with the Roman mimes, who enact a farcical comedy in masks, in presence of the Emperor Caligula and the Roman populace. Concluding, this Roman group does not depart, but retiring into partial shadow on the right, awaits there its later summons. End of prologue and first interlude.
Act 1 of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy MacKay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Narrated and edited by Amelia Chesley.
Act 1. As the Roman interlude closes, the light passes from the ground circle to the middle stage, where Prospero, descending his throne with Ariel, moves toward the centre. While they speak together there, Caliban, coming from his cave, crawls part way up the steps and lies flat, occasionally lifting his head to listen.
So, Ariel, I have harvested for thee these orchards of mine art, and let thee taste their varied fruitages, some that have ripened in climes auspicious, some that are part decayed. Now from 3 vineyards, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, I will distil a vari-coloured wine for Caliban to drink. So, steeped in spirit, haply he also shall see visions. Hast thou learned by heart all that I whispered to thee?
All, master.
Tell me part.
You will create out of this world of art 3 scenes of vision.
And who shall act them? Say.
My spirits shall, and I will be their prologue.
For what purpose?
To tutor this beast.
And why?
That he may grow to reverence Miranda, and forswear Setebos.
So, and to dispel the powers of Setebos, I have transformed his cave to be her temple and my theatre. Look!
Prospero raises his staff toward the darkness that conceals the background. As he does so, increasing light reveals the rude, irregular contours of the cave of Setebos, transformed to the architectural lines of a splendid proscenium, in the oblong of which the cloudy curtains shut off the inner stage. The idol of Setebos has vanished. While this transformation is taking place, the spirit choirs of Ariel appear above the proscenium, singing.
In the same abode and cell where the toad was wont to dwell, and the tiger stretched his claw, we have built a shrine of law. We have chosen the lair of hate to love, imagine, and create. Out of blood and dross, out of Setebos, we are risen to show the art of Prospero. Here within his head and heart our souls are servants of his art.
Their appearances vanish above.
Most noble master, show me now behind those cloudy curtains. How have you transformed the cave within?
Come, I will show thee how.
Prospero and Ariel pass through the curtains at the centre and disappear within.
Meanwhile, Caliban, peering above the top step, stares in dumb awe at the changed scene. There he is hailed from below by the priest of Setebos, Lust, who comes forth from his cell and calls,
Caliban, remember Setebos.
Caliban, starting, backs down the steps in scared pantomime.
I, Setebos, but I hear their watchdogs bark. Bow wow! I feel their tongues bite yet. Their torments.
Caliban, restore thy father's temple.
Yea, but my father had no feet to dance. Curse on the yellow sands, they sting my eyes still with their blindings. Blast 'em.
He springs part way up the steps again.
Caliban, restore the priests of Setebos.
His priests? Nay, what if the cock sang, their chanticleer, his diddle-diddle-dow? Burneth my spine still with that crowing.
Re-enter Prospero through the curtains.
Hush, he comes again. I await thy call. Cry on Caligula, and I will come.
Lust goes in the cell. Prospero calling within the curtains.
Now, Ariel, where art thou? Ariel!
Ariel, stepping forth from behind the curtains, dressed in the garb of prologue, bows low.
Here, great master, I am now Prologus, at your service.
Nay, not mine, but his. Come, Caliban, behold thy tutor. Behind these curtains he will show thee now more than thy nature dreams on. If thou obey him and learn mine art, thou shalt go free like him. If not, thou shalt be spitted on a tooth more sharp than Setebos. What sayest?
Caliban cringing.
Lord, art cock of the world, and Caliban thy worm. Yea, only beggeth thee crow no more, nor set thy dancing dogs to bark at him.
Tush, fool! Wilt thou obey?
Obey it, both of you.
That's well. Sit here and watch. Now, Ariel, thy prologue, then reveal what lies behind.
Prospero mounts his throne, on the steps of which Caliban squats below him, watching and listening with growing curiosity. At the centre, before the cloudy curtains, Ariel speaks.
From Egypt, by our master's art, behold now when these curtains part, a scene of fleeting pageantry. Behold where pale Mark Anthony hath fled his sore-defeated ships in quest of Cleopatra's lips, and turned the tides of war amiss, to pawn a kingdom for a kiss. So by my spirit's acting see, of what strange stuff these humans be.
Ariel retires within through the curtains, which then, to the melodic dirge of flutes within, draw apart, disclosing the inner stage, which depicts a scene of vivid Egyptian colouring. First inner scene. Against a backdrop of deep blue sky, the barge of Cleopatra lies moored at an ancient wharf. From the left, along the wharf, enters Mark Antony, attended by soldiers and populace in Roman and Egyptian garb.
Hark! The land bids me tread no more upon't. It is a shame to bear me. Friends, come hither. I am so hated in the world that I have lost my way for ever. I have a ship laden with gold. Take that, divide it, fly, and make your peace with Caesar.
Fly, not we.
I have fled myself, and have instructed cowards to run and show their shoulders. Friends, be gone. I have myself resolved upon a course which has no need of you. Be gone. Nay, do so, for indeed I have lost command.
His followers depart, and Antony throws himself down on the buttress of the wharf. Meantime, from the barge, Cleopatra, who has looked on and listened, is led down to the landing by Charmian and her attendants. behind whom Eros, a friend of Antony, follows. They approach Antony, who, absorbed in his grief, does not see them.
Nay, gentle madam, to him, comfort him.
Do. Why, what else?
Let me sit down. O Juno!
As Cleopatra sinks down near him, Antony, now beholding her, starts up with a cry of surprise and passionate pain.
No, no, no. No, no.
Eros pointing to Cleopatra's piteous aspect.
See you here, sir.
Antony hiding his face.
Oh, fie, fie, fie.
Charmian bending over her.
Madame!
Eros appealing to Antony.
Sir, sir.
Yes, my lord, yes. He at Philippi kept his sword e'en like a dance, while I struck the lean and wrinkled Cassius. And 'twas I that the mad Brutus Yet now, no matter.
He sinks down again. Cleopatra rising to her attendants.
Ah, stand by. Sustain me. Oh.
Most noble sir, arise. The queen approaches. Her head's declined, and death will seize her. But your comfort makes the rescue.
Antony drawing still away despairfully.
I have offended reputation. A most unnoble swerving.
Sir, the queen!
Cleopatra and Antony face each other, gazing into each other's eyes.
Oh, whither hast thou led me, Egypt? See how I convey my shame out of thine eyes, by looking back what I have left behind, destroyed in dishonour.
Oh, my lord, forgive my fearful sails. I little thought you would have followed.
Egypt, thou knew'st too well my heart was to thy rudder tied by the strings, and thou shouldst tow me after. O'er my spirit thy full supremacy thou knew'st, and that thy beck might from the bidding of the gods command me.
Oh, my pardon!
Now I must to the young man send humble treaties, dodge and palter in the shift of lowness, who with half the bulk of the world played as I pleased, making and marring fortunes. You did know how much you were my conqueror, and that my sword, made weak by my affection, would obey it on all calls.
Cleopatra, touching his arm, clings to him.
Pardon, pardon.
Antony, overcome at her touch.
Fall not a tear, I say. One of them rates all that is won and lost. Give me a kiss. Even this repays me. Wine! Bring wine within there, wine! For fortune knows we scorn her most, when most she offers blows.
He embraces Cleopatra. From the right slaves enter, bearing chalices and wine beakers. With them come flutists and harpers, making festal music. Snatching from them a golden cup, Antony raises it aloft with an impassioned gesture, returning the triumphant smile of the Egyptian queen. Closing, the cloudy curtains shut off the scene. Meantime, Caliban, who has risen absorbed and drawn slowly nearer in childlike fascination, stands for an instant, bewildered. Then with a cry he leaps forward in the dim-lit space and gropes along the curtains with arms wide.
"Oh, light! Oh, smother! 'Tis gone! Yo, all gone! Cloud swallowed all! Ah, woman, snake bright queen, thou wonder thing come back! Ah, where?
So. Canst thou, then, taste my vision, slave?
Prospero descends the throne toward Caliban. Caliban, staring about him.
Oh, dazzle blue gold shine, hot lotus smell, blood root in bloom and scarlet water weed, oh, silver sight and tinkling sound! spurteth my body with joy, burst in my brain enormous moons of wonder. Float, still float, you purpling sails, blaze, thou flame woman, speak, sparkles of kissing fire.
Prospero approaching him.
Nay, art thou touched beyond thy tiger cravings?
Oh, Lord Master, Lord Chanticleer, unswallow from thy gorge the world thou hast devoured.
Prospero pointing toward Ariel, who comes forth again as Prologus through the curtains.
Ask of thy tutor. He hath revealed that world to thy brute ken. Ariel, this lump of earth hath dreams within it that now begin to sprout. Send it more sun and watering.
Sir, your art is rain and sun. I am but air, to carry its wealth or warmth, whereso you list.
So let it fall on him, till he shall wax to a more worthy plant for Miranda's temple garden. Here is my staff. This wields my power. Here, keep it in thy charge till I return. So use it as a rod to instruct this bungling cub of Setebos.
As Prospero goes.
I will, sir. Go you far?
No farther than the frontiers of mine art. Farewell awhile.
Prospero passes within through the curtains. Half confiding, half suspicious, Caliban comes near to Ariel and questions him.
Art saith? What this his art?
'Tis that which burns now in thy blood, the same which conjured hither bright Egypt and the kiss of Anthony.
The woman and the kiss? Nay, say this now, 'tis rain and sun.
'Tis so.
Where falleth his rain? Where shineth his sun?
Yonder on the yellow sands.
Nay, show me this art. Is't hidden in thy hand? Here, let me hold the staff.
Caliban reaches for the staff. Ariel raises it warningly.
Stay! Touch it not, lest it shall scorch thy fingers and set fire to the building well. The staff of Prospero is for his servants, not for slaves, to wield.
Caliban drawing back from it in fear.
Scorcheth my fingers, so wield it thou. Show me once more the snake-bright queen.
Nay, Egypt no more. But come with me to Prosper's throne, where I play master now. Here thou shalt sit and watch the battlements of eternal Troy, where Troilus woos inconstant Cressida.
Show us me once more, woman.
Even so, for many kinds of women make mankind.
Rising, Ariel points toward the inner stage and speaks chantingly.
Now from our time's storied sphere, Homer's Troy I summon here, on a dawn when Hector seeks battle with the besieging Greeks. There, while heroes throng the gates, Cressida her lover waits, casting from a height apart tangling hooks of Troilus' heart. Behold her now, by Prosper's art.
Ariel raises his staff. Second inner scene. The cloudy curtains draw back, revealing the battlements of Troy. Above, on a rampart, in the first rays of morning, Cressida appears with a maiden attendant. Below, murmuring crowds are looking toward the outer gates. Among them pass the aged Trojan queen and the Greek Helen in her younger beauty. Cressida peering below.
Who are those went by?
Queen Hecuba and Helen.
And whither go they?
Up to the eastern tower to see the battle. Hector, before the sun uprose, was harnessed light, and to the field goes he.
Enter behind them Pandarus.
Hector's a gallant man.
Turning to greet him.
Good morrow, Uncle Pandarus.
Pandarus smiling.
Good morrow, cousin Cressid.
Trumpets are sounded off left.
Hark, they are coming from the field. Shall we stand up here and see them as they pass toward Ilium?
At your pleasure.
They move to a better vantage. At a gesture from Cressida, the attendant departs.
Here's an excellent place. I'll tell you them all by their names as they pass by. But mark Troilus above the rest.
Cressida with a reproving laugh.
Speak not so loud.
Below, from the left, Trojan warriors in battle gear begin to pass by through the admiring populace who cheer them occasionally. Among them Aeneas passes.
That's Aeneas. Is not that a brave man? He's one of the flowers of Troy, I can tell you. But mark, Troilus, you shall see anon.
Antenor passes.
Who's that?
That's Antenor. He's one of the soundest judgments in Troy. But when comes Troilus? I'll show you Troilus anon. If he sees me, you shall see him nod at me.
Will he give you the nod?
You shall see.
If he do, the rich shall have more.
Hector passes.
That's Hector. That, look you, there's a fellow. Go thy way, Hector, there's a brave man, niece.
Oh, a brave man.
Swords, anything he cares not, and the devil comes to him, it's all one. Ah, yonder comes Paris. Paris
passes.
Who said he came hurt home today? He's not hurt. Why, this will do Helen's heart good now. Ha! Would I could see Troilus now. You shall see Troilus anon.
Helenus passes.
Who's that?
Pandarus, searching with his eyes, grows impatiently expectant.
That's Helenus. I marvel where Troilus is. That's Helenus, I think. He went not forth today. That's Helenus.
Can Helenus fight, uncle?
Helenus? No. Yes, he'll fight indifferent well. I marvel where Troilus is. Hark! Do you hear the people cry, Troilus?
Troilus passes. As he approaches, the populace cheer him. His eyes, however, search about till they rest on the battlement, where Cressida, returning his look, starts back trembling. Noting both their actions, Pandarus continues flauntingly to point out the young hero.
'Tis Troilus. There's a man, niece. Him, brave Troilus.
Peace, for shame, peace.
Mark him, note him, O brave Troilus. Look well upon him, niece. Look you how his sword is bloodied, and his helm more hacked than Hector's. O admirable youth! Go thy way, Troilus, go thy way. Had I a sister were a grace, or a daughter a goddess, he should take his choice. O admirable man! Paris? Paris is dirt to him.
While he is speaking, Cressida has taken from her hair a flower, knotted its stem to an arrow, and dropped the arrow beneath the rampart, where Troilus lifts it with a smile and a happy gesture, bearing it away with him, right. As Pandarus now turns to her, Cressida looks away left and points to others below.
Here comes more.
More forces pass.
Asses, fools, dolts, chaff and bran, porridge after meat. I could live and die. In the eyes of Troilus ne'er look, ne'er look. The eagles are gone, crows and daws, crows and daws. I had rather be such a man as Troilus than Agamemnon and all Greece.
Enter above Troilus' boy, who speaks to Pandarus.
Sir, my lord Troilus would instantly speak with you.
Where?
At your own house. There he unarms him.
Good boy, tell him I come.
Exit boy.
Fare ye well, good niece.
He goes off above.
Adieu, uncle.
Below, the last of the soldiers and populace have passed off right, where Cressida gazes after them, speaking aloud to herself.
One more in Troilus thousandfold I see, than in the glass of Pandarus' praise may be. Yet hold I off, women are angels, wooing. Things won are done, joy's soul lies in the doing.
Below, from the right, Troilus hastens back alone. The arrow with the flower he has thrust through the links in his chain armour on his left side. Pointing to it, he calls up toward the battlement.
Cressida!
Troilus!
Unwinding her long wine-red scarf, she ties it to the battlement, whence it flutters down to Troilus. Seizing it, he mounts by its aid toward the rampart, where the face of Cressida peers luringly above him. Troilus calling upward as he mounts.
Cressida!
Just as he is about to reach Cressida, the cloudy curtains close. At the centre Caliban now leaps up in loud excited laughter. Clapping his hands in the air, he strides toward Ariel on the throne.
Aha! Troy, lips of Troyland and Egypt, lovers in links of gold, whole wine of woman bubbling in vats of war. Drinketh you all, Caliban, son of Setebos, Ariel, learnest me art. Lo now, I am his artist. Tell him, Lord Prospero, Caliban created glories more astounding still. Art, 'tis God's play. But me, I'm God i' the mire, can make me Troy and purple Egypt out of the mud in my palm. Giveth me only that, his little play stick,
pointing to the staff in Ariel's hand,
to stir in the mud withal.
Not yet. This staff is wrought to stir the spirits of the air, not dabble i' the slime.
Why so? From bog slime bloometh the lotus, and the sea lark feedeth her young along the salt flats.
With childish wheedling.
Prithee, the staff.
Ariel descending the throne.
'Twould burn thee, touch not till thou art free. Yet patience, monster, for thou hast learned to answer well, and growest rarely in thought and speech.
Caliban tickled to laughter.
Yea, clever monster, soon groweth monstrous clever. More art, fine Ariel. Let Caliban speak thy prologue.
Hush, Miranda.
From her shrine Miranda comes forth with the Muses. Seeing the two, she pauses, astonished.
Nay, is this Ariel?
'Tis I, Prologus. Will you hear me, mistress?
Miranda as Caliban approaches.
Thou, Caliban.
My pupil.
Caliban with confiding assurance.
Liketh well thy father's art, spring i' the air?
God speed thy learning, monster. I am more fain to help thee in that task than all else in the world.
Wouldst help me? Thou?
How happy if I could.
Yea, canst thou. Hark!
Glancing from his garb to Ariel's.
Let me wear glory too. What booteth me to be his artist if I wear no cloth to show my glory? He that talketh no prologue without his toga, talk me too in brave colours.
Well thought on.
To one of the Muses.
Quick, Euterpe, fetch bright vesture forth.
For Caliban.
For whom so fit. The need of beauty lies most near to them who lack it.
Euterpe returns, bringing bright garments, which she and the other maidens help now to put upon Caliban.
So, dear Muses, lay on.
Caliban delightedly tries to survey himself.
Ha, Sycorax, and thou wert here now to look on this thy son.
He parades with swelling pleasure before the Muses.
Gaze well, good spirits. Now, Ariel, thy pupil soon shall teach thee what thing this art is. Yea, teach Prospero a lesson in his own law.
Miranda to Ariel, who is about to protest.
Pray, let him tarry this time with us. He is too full of dreams to act us harm. Speak on thy prologue.
Caliban still parading.
Prologue? Aye, good. My prologue shall come after.
Mistress, keep here. This staff is for your protection.
Accepting the staff from Ariel, Miranda takes seat on the shrine where the Muses range themselves about her.
So, be near us, Caliban.
Caliban, moving to the shrine steps, speaks to Ariel.
What showest now?
At centre, before the curtains.
Now in time's emblazoned tome, Egypt, Greece, turn page for Rome.
Caliban mutters aloud.
Rome, huh? I'll show you Rome.
Rocked by mighty Caesar's fall, glooms the world in battle pall, where by midnight worn and spent, weary Brutus in his tent watches mid the Roman host, where the pallid Caesar's ghost rises from his candle flame, accusing who shall bear that blame? Can Brutus make a world from shame?
Ariel disappears through the curtains. Miranda raises the staff. Third inner scene. The cloudy curtains part, disclosing the tent of Brutus by moonlight. Brutus, his outer armour laid aside, sits on a couch. Near him Lucius, a boy, nods drowsily over a stringed instrument. After a brief pause, Brutus, gazing at him, speaks wistfully.
Bear with me, good boy. Canst thou hold up thy heavy eyes a while, and touch thy instrument a strain or two?
Ay, my lord, an it please you.
It does, my boy. I should not urge thy duty past thy might. I know young bloods look for a time of rest.
I have slept, my lord, already.
It was well done, and thou shalt sleep again. I will not hold thee long. If I do leave, I will be good to thee.
Lucius, tuning his instrument, sings dreamily.
Fear no more the frown of the great, thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe and eat, to thee the seed is as the oak. The sceptre, learning, physic must all follow this and come to dust.
Lucius falls asleep.
This is a sleepy tune. O murderous slumber, lay'st thou thy leaden mace upon my boy that plays thee music? Gentle knave, good night. I will not do thee so much wrong to wake thee. Let me see, let me see. Is not the leaf turned down where I left reading? Here it is, I think.
The ghost of Caesar appears.
How well this taper burns! Ha! Who comes here? I think it is the weakness of mine eyes that shapes this monstrous apparition. It comes upon me. Art thou anything? Art thou some god, some angel, or some devil, that makest my blood cold, and my hair to stare? Speak to me what thou art.
In the darkness, dark ghostly shapes, hardly visible, appear to urge forward the dead Caesar, who alone is luminous.
Thy evil spirit, Brutus.
Why comest thou?
To tell thee thou shalt see me at Philippi.
Well, then I shall see thee again.
Ay, at Philippi.
Why, I will see thee at Philippi then.
The ghost and the dim shades disappear. Brutus rises.
Now I have taken heart, thou vanishest. Ill spirit, I would hold more talk with thee. Boy, Lucius! Romans! Romans! Awake! Awake!
The cloudy curtains close. Instantly, in the semi-darkness without, Caliban, with a great cry, springs among the muses, snatches from Miranda the staff, and rushes with it to the centre of the middle stage, shouting aloud.
Ah! Awake, Romans, awake!
Low thunders growl, and sharp flashes glimmer about him. Miranda cries out, appalled.
The staff! His staff! Touch not its power, lest thou lay waste the world.
Caliban, grasping the staff, staggers and sways wildly with it, as though being shocked by an invisible force.
Rome, how do I hold the roof beam of the world? Now am I lord of lightnings. Lo, mine art shaketh the throne of Prospero.
He strides upon the throne, raising the staff.
Awake! Imperial Rome, return you snake-bright woman of Troy and Egypt. Stain these yellow sands wine red with spillings of your wreathed bowls, and let the orgied priests of revel reign. Caligula be crowned by Setebos. Caligula, Caligula, Caligula!
While he cries aloud, the powers of Setebos come forth from the cell beneath, clad as Roman men, women, and slaves, and joined by the Roman interlude pageant on the ground circle, raise the emperor on a palanquin upon their shoulders, and bear him up the steps to the middle stage, shouting Caligula. Here a scene of mingled riot and orgy follows. Women dancers with golden bowls, slaves shackled and driven with whips, rabble groups scrambling for bread loaves flung them by heralds, armed soldiery, and gorgeous patrician lords, these swarm in a sordid saturnalia, from the midst of which the masked form of Caligula rises dominant in splendour. At his gesture slaves tear the muses from their shrine, and give them over to the revellers. High above all, clutching the staff, his huge limbs rioting grotesque from his silken garments, Caliban dances on the throne of Prospero. Below, bass voices of invisible choirs chant through the din, Setebos, Setebos, thou art Setebos. Seized from the throne with the muses, Miranda, at the centre, is borne in faint dread to the reaching arms of Caligula, who is about to place upon her his crown, when a sudden pealing of silvery trumpets strikes silence over all. In awe the revellers gaze upward and turn toward the background, listening. Above them, from the darkness, appears a colossal cross burning with white fire. Caligula drops his crown. Shadow falls on the colourful pageantry, and all sink slowly to their knees as the spirits of Ariel appear again above, their luminous wings outspread like seraphim. At either end one blows a slim tapering trumpet. High and clear, then, their choirs chant in Gregorian unison.
Vexilla Regius produent, vocat Christus mysterium, quo carna carnes conditor, suspensus est patibulo, quo veneritas in super, mucrone dirolensei, ut nos lavaret crimeni, manavit uda et sanguini. O crus ave spes unica, hoc passiones temporei, age pies justitiam, reisque dona veniam, te summa Deus Trinitas, collaudet omnes spiritas, quos per cruces mysterium salves rege per secula.
During this chant the dim revellers beneath bow their bodies more low. And now, to faint organ music, the cloudy curtains, parting, reveal the inner stage hung like an early Christian shrine in a catacomb, with primitive tapestries of dusky blue and gold. Against these, in the glow of candles, an image of haloed Saint Agnes holds a white lamb, which silent shepherds are adoring. This group remains motionless as a tableau. Then silently from either side 2 priests come forth with swinging censers. Passing forward and down the steps to the ground circle, they are followed in the dim light by the Roman revellers, who rise and pass off through the interlude gates. Last of all rises Caligula, who pauses hesitant, looking back where Miranda still kneels, now grouped about by her muses. As he stoops to lift his crown from the earth, two figures in the inner scene, a shepherd boy and a shepherd wrapped in a hide mantle, stir from the still picture and come forward in a circle of light, while the cloudy curtains close behind them, and above the white cross vanishes. Speaking from the place of light to the Emperor's form in shadow, the shepherd calls to him.
Caligula,
Who calls?
reveal thyself. What thing thou art?
Stepping slowly into the light, the Emperor bows himself before the shepherd, holding up his crown, which the shepherd takes and says with a gesture,
Lay off thy mask.
Rising, the Emperor puts off his mask, revealing himself as the priest of Setebos.
Hail, lust!
Lust to the shepherd.
Hail, Prospero!
Prospero putting off his sheepskin cloak, which the boy takes from him.
Return to Setebos.
To the shepherd boy.
Ariel, lead him below.
So, master.
Ariel leads Lust away to the cell beneath. Miranda, rising, goes to Prospero's arms.
Father!
From the outer dimness, Caliban, who since the appearance of the burning cross has lain flat on the throne steps, now grovels forward, trailing his silken garment by one sleeve, and flings the staff of Prospero into the light space.
No more. We'll never touch it more.
Prospero staring at the staff.
1,000 years to build, and build for beauty, yet in one flare of riot lust, a lubber idiot confounds time and my toil. Ah, daughter, daughter, how shall mine art reclaim this lapsing ape from his own bondage?
Sir, my heart is shaken, yet the sweet sight of Agnes and her lamb hath shown new comfort.
Stooping, she lifts the staff and holds it toward him.
Therefore, even as a shepherd, take up thy staff in patience, and urge still onward this poor sloughed sheep.
Yea, patience. Sun, moon, stars, and all that waxes hath its waning hour. But patience is the night behind the stars, steadfast through all eclipse.
With his staff he touches Caliban where he lies cringed.
Stir, thou thick clot of clay and god-spittle. Let mine atoms thaw to mud, where Prospero may imprint once more his blurred seal.
Caliban hoarsely, half rising.
Mud, yea, methought to be his artist and make dream things of mine own, like Ariel his spirits. Yet now mud.
Miranda pitifully.
Nay, stardust.
Ariel returning.
Master, from those far frontiers you visited, have you not brought us back more pageant of your art?
Yes, Ariel, back from the dim bournes of the Middle Age of Germany, France, Spain, and Italy. And now, for this slave's tutelage, I'll show you their quaint moralities and madcap mirth. Come hither and watch. Lo, olden Germany, pageant of the North, up here.
Second interlude. Once more through the community gates of the ground circle appear in contrasted ritual successive folk groups that perform now episodic phases of the dramatic art of Europe in the Middle Ages. Concluding, each group departs. First comes the Germanic, in part grimly austere, in part naively grotesque. On a portable three-tiered stage, this group enacts both audience and players of a popular morality play, a pantomime scene depicting in heaven, earth, and hell the tragic romantic history of Dr. Faustus. This action is followed by the contrasted splendour of a medieval French scene. Here, in presence of the kings of France and England, on the Field of the Cloth of Gold, is performed a colourful tournament on horseback. Last follows a fusion of the Spanish and Italian groups in the third action, a light-hearted dramatic scherzo full of laughter, knavery, and romantic love, performed in the midst of a festa by the pied actors of the Commedia dell'arte. During this last action, Prospero and Ariel, above, have withdrawn through the cloudy curtains, leaving Caliban alone, staring spellbound at the many-hued festival below him. End of Act 1. Act 2 of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy MacKay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2. Now, when the Italian interlude is concluded, the light, passing to the middle stage, illumines at center the lone figure of Caliban, where he squats above his cell. Gazing out over the ground circle, he calls aloud his yearning thoughts.
O sands, yellow sands, falleth on you his rain, shineth his sun. Yea, there his breeding dews quicken your blind rock seeds till wondrous live things burst them with flame-bright petals, and where his light falls, you blossom with stars and flowers. But me saith, am mud, calleth me a bubble of black ooze, can't breathe but only my own belly kind, bugfish and moles, lieth.
Rising with great gesture.
He lieth, 'tis lies. Sands, you wild yellow sands, I too am born to dance by your eternal waves and build brave temples there. I too shall bring you shoutings of life song like those spirits. Lo, I come to you, I come now.
Running down the steps, he rushes out upon the ground circle, where he stoops on bent knees and kisses the shining earth. Behind him, at the entrance of the cell, Death appears, holding a great grey cloak. He comes forward, speaking in a thin monotone.
Caliban.
Caliban raising his head.
What calleth me there?
Death, priest of Setebos.
His temple is fallen, we'll build no more like his.
Thou shalt restore his temple, Caliban.
Caliban rising.
Nay, will not.
None can say me nay. I am the will to not be which denies all wills.
Through the cloudy curtains, slowly, Prospero enters in troubled meditation.
And I am Caliban.
Pointing toward Prospero.
Will be his servant.
Caliban, thou shalt fail. Thyself art failure, Setebos' son.
Myself am done with Setebos. Wear now Miranda's cloth.
Thou shalt wear mine. Behold.
Caliban looking at the grey cloak.
What's that?
My cloak, where thou shalt hide to snare Miranda unto bondage. Hark!
Far, cold, and thin, a dirgeful choir sounds from the cell behind the figure of Death.
Grey, 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 joy be unholy and hidden. One be the rainbow of wonder, frozen the tide. Blind, 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 passion be pale and forbidden. Dumb be the lips of the soul, to beauty denied.
Prospero speaks to Ariel, who comes running from behind the cloudy curtains.
Life bird of mine, my heart is boding ill. Hast thou heard?
Nay, master. What?
His dirges.
Whose?
Setebos. Ha! 'Tis not his lust I dread. Nay, nor his tiger tooth, nor belly on fire. 'Tis when his fever cools, when the grey ash covers the life flame, and the boiling senses skim with thin ice, and the rank bloom wears hoar-frost. Not savage souls, 'tis dead souls that defeat us. Not red, but grey, grey.
While Prospero and Ariel have spoken together above, Caliban below has been drawn half-hypnotized by Death toward the cell. Death to Caliban.
Follow me.
I follow.
At the cell's mouth, Death lifts the grey cloak to put upon Caliban.
Where now my colour?
As Death touches him, Caliban springs back.
No, no, thy hand touch freezeth.
Fearfully he leaps up the steps, crying aloud.
Prospero, I will serve thee.
Death disappearing within the cell.
Thou shalt fail.
Caliban bowing before Prospero.
Master, raise up thy servant.
Raise thyself.
Caliban slowly rising.
So, whilst thou lookest on me, I can rise?
Nay, look once more on what I now create for thee to rise by. 'Tis mine art, not me, reigns as thy master. Master it, and go free.
The three move toward the throne, where they soon group themselves on the steps.
What wilt thou show me now?
A mind distraught, grasping at realms invisible, like thine, poor groping dreamer. Ariel, from the scroll of mine old Gothic meditations, bid thy spirits blazon now a glimpse of Hamlet.
He hands to Ariel his scroll.
You will, great master, we rever it. Lo, where to meet his father's spirit. Pale Hamlet watches now before the parapets of Elsinore.
Ariel raises the scroll, then, unrolling it, bends his looks upon it, while the cloudy curtains part, revealing the fifth inner scene. On a platform at Elsinore, by blazing starlight, three figures are seen pacing the cold.
The air bites shrewdly, it is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. Then it draws near the season wherein the spirit held its wont to walk.
A flourish of trumpets and ordnance shot off within.
What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake to-night, and takes his rouse, keeps wassail, and the swaggering upstart reels, and as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and the trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Horatio pointing.
My lord, it comes.
Enter Ghost.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned, bring with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, king, father, royal Dane. Oh, answer me. What may this mean, that thou, dead corpse again in complete steel, revisitest thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature so horridly to shake your disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls? Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
The ghost beckons Hamlet.
It beckons you to go away with it, as if it some impartment did desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
It will not speak. Then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why, what should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee. And for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It wastes me forth again. I'll follow it.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hands.
Be ruled. You shall not go.
My fate cries out. and makes each petty artery in this body as hardy as the Nemean lion's nerve. Still I am called. Unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say, away. Go on. I'll follow thee.
As Hamlet, impetuous, makes after the departing ghost, the cloudy curtains close. Caliban springing up.
No, no, follow not, let him not follow. 'Tis a spirit lureth to Setebos and death. He knoweth him not what 'tis, but, master, I know, me too hath he beckoned with blind eyes, and offered his grey cloth.
Thee? Death hath beckoned, and yet thou didst not follow?
Hither I fled to serve thee. But he said that I should fail. Yet, and thou wilt help, I will not fail.
And what wouldst have of me?
Caliban pointing to Ariel.
Thy wonder scroll. Nay, not thy staff again. Will never more botch with thy lightnings. Nay, but this little a thing, lend me, and let me bear it against death, to free my father's spirit from his grey pall. Let us, Ariel, let now thy Caliban conspire to serve thee.
He reaches for the scroll.
Why, thou wheedlest well, and I must hope in thy self-weaning. Yet beware, lest thou thyself shall wear the drab thou takest from him. Grey hath arsenic more keen than scarlet, or the corroding blood that seared the flesh of Hercules.
Wilt lend me thy scroll?
Prospero with a gesture to Ariel.
Here.
Ariel hands the scroll, which Prospero then gives to Caliban.
Use this token of mine art, less blindfold than the last.
Caliban bounds away with the scroll. Ariel half protesting.
We'll trust him, master.
Yea, though he fail me yet again, for only trust can create its object.
Caliban joyfully kissing the scroll and raising it.
Now, Setebos, thy son shall wean thy powers from death, thy priest.
Descending the steps, Caliban hastens to the mouth of the cell, where, as he is about to enter, Death reappears and hails him.
Welcome, Caliban.
Death beckons within. Pausing momentarily, Caliban seems about to draw back, but recovering his purpose, cries out hoarsely.
Go on, I follow thee.
He follows within and disappears. Caliban and Death have hardly vanished when Miranda comes from her shrine, followed by the Muses, who are accompanied by a troop of fauns. The classic hides of these are partly concealed by gay medieval garments, Florentine and French, and some bear in their hands great vellum books and parchments, which they stack in a pile near the shrine. Miranda calling joyously.
Muses, sweet friends to mirth, come forth again and fetch your little fawns that drowsed so long in mildewed vaults of antique vellum through all the winters of dark ages. Come, sad Clio, and pucker your frown. You, pale Melpomene, blush to a lovelier time. Yon yellow sands that ran blood-red with orgies of old Rome shine golden now with young Renaissance. The ages renew their summer, joy hath its June once more, for once more Prosper reigns.
As Miranda comes to him.
'Tis thy returning restores my summer-time. I see thou hast been rummaging old lockers.
Ay, sir, and found these sharp-eared fawns hiding like wintered field mice in attic parchments, so I set them free to play, while care the cats away. Come now, Sicilian boys, caper your shag-hair shins, and thou, Terpsichore, lead on the dance to please my father.
At her command, Terpsichore and the fauns, to instruments played by the Muses, perform a joyous dance before Prospero. As they conclude, he greets them with a smile.
Thanks, you hearts up-leaping. After long ominous hours, thanks for your festa. And you, dear child, incorrigible for joy, come now, I will requite you. Not in gold, but golden fantasy, wrought all one glow of shadowless shining.
Ah, another vision?
Ay, 'tis a vision that myself beheld shine on the soil of France. I'll show you peace. The kings of earth at peace after red battle. Two kings of men, each clasping brother's hand, warm with the golden passion of strong peace.
What kings were they, and where?
England and France. They met in the vale of Andren, twixt Guinness and Arde. I was then present, saw them salute on horseback, beheld them when they lighted, how they clung in their embracement, as they grew together. But tell us, Ariel, what I told thee remember, how peace was crowned on the field in a cloth of gold.
How brave a name! Would I had been there.
Ariel bowing as prologue.
You lost the view of earthly glory, men might say. Till this time pomp was single, but now married to one above itself. Each following day became the next day's master, till the last may form a wondrous its. Today the French, all clinging to all in gold, like heathen gods, shone down the English, and tomorrow they made Britain India. Every man that stood showed like a mine. Their dwarfish pages were as cherubims all gilt. The madams too, not used to toil, did almost sweat to bear the pride upon them, that their very labour was to them as a painting. Now this masque was cried incomparable, and the ensuing night made it a fool and beggar. The two kings, equal in lustre, were now best, now worst, as presence did present them. Lo, now see how first they met and clasped their hands in peace.
Lifting Prospero's staff, Ariel makes a gesture toward the cloudy curtains, which part, discovering the sixth inner scene. Here, to an opening fanfare of golden trumpets, takes place a pantomime, all of gold, depicting to the eye, as in a glowing fantasy, the meeting of the kings and their retinues, the alighting of the kings from horseback, their embracement and their clasping of hands. During this enactment of the pantomime, the choirs of Ariel's spirits sing, unseen.
Glory and serenity, splendor of desire, blend where golden lilies bloom mid St. George's fire. Lilies of France, behold how they glow on the field of the cloth of gold, and the battle captains curb their bands where the kings of earth clasp hands. Power and principality raise to peace their choir where Lord Christ his lilies cling round the dragon's ire. Lilies of Christ, behold how they flame from the field of the cloth of gold, where the captains bow to their lord's commands, and the kings of men clasp hands.
At the climax of the meeting of the kings, the cloudy curtains close. Prospero smiling to Miranda.
This glowing taketh thee.
O my good father, methinks my soul is a flig of the sun, for where things golden shine, I spangle too. Yea, burn to be aurora, and trail cloth of gold around the world.
Unless my will miscarry, thou shalt be such a morning messenger, and wake the world with beauty. Now my plans wait on a vast result, for Caliban himself hath gone to deal with Setebos, his grey priest, Death.
What Caliban? Oh, glad hope for us all! Your art begins to triumph, and Ariel's spirits to conquer.
That still waits. Meanwhile mine art drinks from this Renaissance deep draughts against a dark tomorrow. Hither, you fawns! Come, bear my gold emblazoned scrolls and silver-clasped books before me.
Lifting the scrolls and volumes from their pile by the shrine, the fawns come forward with them to Prospero, who turns affectionately to Miranda. Miranda detaining him.
Yet conjure once again before you go.
What wouldst thou, dear?
Hardly I know, but something high, serene, and passionately fair. Some visioned glimpse of fadeless youth, and lovers rich through love.
Why, Ariel hath his orders still.
To Ariel.
List, pupil, to glad thy mistress's heart when I am gone, pour the warm moon wine of Italian night into a dream cup, where entranced lovers seal with charmed lips their vows. therein dissolve what visions rise, till they shall melt in one gloaming of love and music. So, Miranda, rich dreams. Fawn boys, bear on my books before me.
Accompanied by the bright-clothed fauns, bearing the great books and scrolls in quaint procession, Prospero departs through the throne entrance. Meantime the Muses and Miranda gather at the shrine, where Ariel approaches Miranda.
Mistress!
Hark, Muses! Ariel, speak on!
Ear and eye, now list and lo, mirth of mad Mercutio, Juliet's sigh for Romeo, dim Lorenzo's murmured, ah, for moon-dreaming Jessica, dance of flower-souled Perdita, wafted to her Florizel, like a wave o'er the sea, list well, lo, their night renews its spell.
At Ariel's last word and gesture the cloudy curtains part, disclosing the seventh inner scene. In the glow and gloom of Italian night, as high clouds intermittently obscure the moon, a palace garden lies deep in shadow, emerging only partly into view where soft light floodings fall on moss-stained statue, marble bench, and balcony. There is revealed at first on the left nothing but a glimpse of garden wall, before which flash in the dimness two pied figures, Benvolio and Mercutio. Calling shrilly, their young voices rain showers of fluting laughter.
Romeo! My cousin Romeo! He ran this way, and leaped this orchard wall. Call, good Mercutio!
Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo, humour's madman, passion, lover, I conjure thee by thy true love's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the demesnes that there adjacent lie, that in thy likeness thou appear to us. He heareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not.
Come, he hath hid himself among these trees, to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark.
If love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go?
They disappear, swallowed up in the black shadow. And now the shadow, shifting, leaves bare in mellow moonshine a glimpse of the garden and the balcony, where Juliet, bending forward, calls mysteriously into the dark below.
Hist! Romeo, hist! Oh, for a falconer's voice, to lure this tassel gentle back again! Bondage is hoarse, and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where Echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine, with repetition of my Romeo's name.
Romeo emerging below from the shadow.
It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo!
My dear?
At what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
At the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it.
I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company.
And I'll still stay, to have thee still forgetting any other home but this.
'Tis almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton's bird who lets it hop a little from her hand. Good night! Good night! Parting is such sweet sorrow, that I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Once more deep shadow engulfs the scene, and now, out of the dark, harmonious music sounds in strains of passionate wistfulness. So as the music sounds on the right, beams of the moon reveal a flowery bank whereby Lorenzo and Jessica are discovered.
How sweet the moonlight sleeps upon this bank! Here we will sit and let the sounds of music creep in our ears. Soft stillness and the night become the touches of sweet harmony. Sit, Jessica. Look how the floor of heaven is thick inlaid with patterns of bright gold. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdest, but in his motion like an angel sings, still choiring to the young-eyed cherubims. Such harmony is in immortal souls. But while this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close it in, we cannot hear it.
Swift shadow sweeps over them in darkness, wandering from its visionary theme to the hint of the muddy vesture of decay. The music flows onward then into a dance melody. Moonlight touches the garden again on the left with its liquid glow, wherein, whirled into light from a group of shadowy dancers outside, Florizel and Perdita are disclosed. Florizel, as Perdita withdraws shyly her hand from his, speaks to her ardently.
What you do still betters what is done. When you speak, sweet, I'd have you do it ever. When you do dance, I wish you away o'er the sea, that you might ever do nothing but that. Move still, still so, and own no other function. It's your doing so singular in its particular, crowns what you are doing in the present deed, that all your acts are queens.
Oh, Doricles, your praises are too large, but that your youth, and the true blood which peepeth fairly through it, do plainly give you an unstained shepherd. With wisdom I might fear, my Doricles, you wooed me the false way.
I think you have as little skill to fear as I have purpose to put you to it. But come, our dance, I pray. Your hand, my Perdita?
Perdita giving her hand confidingly.
My Florizel.
Together they dance away into the dark and alluring music as the cloudy curtains close. Still, after the curtains closing, the music continues, but now more faint, changing the idyllic strains of the dance rhythm to a minor sadness, which gradually takes form as a drear, monotonous processional. Through the faint music Miranda speaks to Ariel.
Too brief, sweet bird. O Ariel, be time's nightingale, and charm these lovers back to yearn immortal youth. Methinks already their absence leaves us aged. Dost thou not feel a waning of high powers? Doth not a pallor creep on the glowing world?
Yes, so I have felt after the equinox, November coming on.
Miranda starting as she gazes at one of the muses.
Euterpe, dear, what lock of grey is this in thy bright hair? Quick, Ariel, fetch my father, for sudden my heart aches and I wish him near.
Strength I will bring him, and my spirits too. Be merry, mistress, they shall soon restore us.
Ariel hastens off left. As he does so, the muses with downcast looks file off right into the shrine.
Nay, darling muses, do not leave me too. What, must you all go hence? Still I must tarry to greet my father. Friends, good-bye.
They depart.
Ah me, what voices make their dirge within my heart?
While she has spoken, the mouth of Caliban's cell, emitting a ghastly glow, fills with dim shapes which pour outward and swarm slowly upward over the steps, covering the stage with a moving, huddled greyness, out of which two cloaked figures rise distinct in the dusk. As they come forth and hover nearer to Miranda, a cold dirge issues with them from below.
Grey, 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 joy be unholy and hidden. One be the rainbow of wonder, frozen the tide. Blind, 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 passion be pale and forbidden. Dumb be the lips of the soul, to beauty denied.
Slowly the grey hosts surround Miranda, who stares at them, only half believing their presence, till the dusk growing lighter reveals their long Puritan cloaks and peaked hats, and the two muffled ones in grey towering before her. Then faintly she speaks to them.
What are you? Why are you come? Ah, you! 'Tis you! Priest of Setebos! Caliban!
She sways and falls.
Ah, she swooneth. O death, unfasten thy spell.
Nay, thou hast failed.
Lifting the scroll of Prospero, which he has taken from Caliban, Death makes a gesture to his followers. Then, laying his hand upon Caliban, he turns with him backward, as a group of grey cloaked shapes raise the limp form of Miranda to a cloth-draped bier, and thus bear her downward toward the cell's mouth. In the dim processional as they go, they raise again their dirge.
Grey, 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 love be sin born of misgiving. Life be a garment of dullness, drab from the loom. Bleak, 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 death, death is Lord of the living, not in the clay, but the heart of man lies the tomb.
Disappearing in the cell below, their chant dies away. Above them, from the left, Ariel returns alone. Searching in the dusk half fearfully, he calls.
Miranda, mistress, he hath vanished. Nowhere can I find trace of him. Yea, and my spirits, they too are gone, lost in the greyness. All have deserted us. Miranda, mistress, where art thou? Gone thyself, and I alone. Oh, grey, that has engulfed a world of beauty, where shall I find them evermore? My master, my star-bright mistress. Hear me, yellow sands, hear me, yellow sands. If you have beheld them, answer now my prayer.
Outstretching his arms toward the sands.
Prospero, Prospero, master!
From far across the sands bursts a mellow radiance, and the rich voice of Prospero calling in answer.
Ariel, Ariel, ho, bird!
Springing into light upon the farthest wave lines of the yellow sands, Prospero comes returning, surrounded by the spirits of Ariel, clad all in green and bearing in their midst a garlanded maypole. Marching joyously across the circle toward Ariel, all in radiant glow, they come shouting a choral song.
Summer is ecumen in, Luda sing coo coo, groweth sad and bloweth med, and springeth the wood new, sing coo coo. Ah, blateth after lom, luth after calva coo, bullock stateth, bouquet vereth, muri sing coo coo, coo coo, coo coo. Well singest thou coo coo, ni swike thou never knew, sing coo coo, new sing coo coo, sing coo coo, sing coo coo, new.
Leaping up the steps, they plant the maypole at the center, where Ariel greets them.
Dear master, O blithe hearts, have welcome home.
Welcome our maypole back. Where is thy mistress?
Ariel startled.
Alas, you know not.
Prospero reassuringly.
Nay, I know. But cheerily, my birdlings. Now that ye are flocked once more round this enchanted tree, I'll conjure you out of mine art such joyous rites, that they shall draw your mistress even from the tomb to join our revels. Come now, gather round, and watch my antic rites of merry England.
Third Interlude. Now through the interlude gates, and from all sides, a jocund festival pours into the illumined space of the ground circle, the folk festival of Elizabethan England. Simultaneously, in different parts, as in a merry rural fair, various popular arts and pastimes begin, and continue together. Morris dancers and pipers, balladists and play actors, folk dancers, fiddlers, clowns, and Punch and Judy performers romp, rant, parade, and jingle amongst flower girls and gay-garbed jesters, spangling by the bright vendors' booths. Central, at a point of vantage, above a gaping crowd of lumpkins and children, Noah's wife harangues the heavens from the old play. So they pursue their merriment till the low rumble and lowering of a thundercloud disperses them with its passing shadow. End of Act 2. Act 3 of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy Mackay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3. At the conclusion now of the English interlude, out of the shadow, a roseate glow suffuses the cell of Caliban, from which the green-clad spirits of Ariel come running forth, bringing in their midst Miranda. Leading her in daisy chains, they mount with her the steps toward Prospero, singing in glad chorus.
Spring, the sweet spring, is the year's pleasant king. Then blooms each thing, then maids dance in a ring. Cold doth not sting, the pretty birds do sing. Cuckoo, jug jug, poo-wee, to-wit-a-woo. The palm and the may make country houses gay. Lambs frisk and play, the shepherds pipe all day, and we hear eye-birds tune this merry lay. Cuckoo, jug jug, poo-wee, to-wit-a-woo. The fields breathe a sweet, the daisies kiss our feet. Young lovers meet, old wives a sunning sit. In every street these tunes our ears do greet. Cuckoo, jug jug, poo-wee, to-wit-a-woo. Spring, the sweet spring.
Prospero greeting her.
Welcome, most dear.
Once more you bring me home, and the grey world wears green.
Caliban calling beneath.
Oh, spring i' the air!
Hark!
From his cell, bare-headed, with grey cloak unbound and flapping behind, Caliban bursts forth and hastens toward them.
Spring i' the air! Leave me not alone! Take me forth with thee too! Not death can hold me when thou goest forth from him.
It was thyself that ledst me unto him.
With thee would I lie even with death. But when thou leavest, thy life-song prickleth his sod, and maketh my sap to leap and lick the sun again.
Kneeling before her.
Oh, whither thou goest, let Caliban go and wear thy cloth, whatso its colours be.
Prospero darkly.
Keep from her, slave, touch not her hem. Her muses garbed thee once gay in her colours, thou soiledst them with shame. Next time thou worest drab, and luredst thy mistress deathward in grey. Now thou darest crave once more to wear her cloth?
Yea, do I. See this cloak, so I forswear it.
He puts off the grey cloak, tears it, and tramples upon it, then turns to Miranda.
Give me now thy green to wear.
Insolent infinite, Ariel, my staff.
Stay, what to do?
Prospero about to raise the staff.
To teach this unwhipped hound to howl.
Caliban starting back.
Great master!
Grace, dear father. Patience needs no quick compulsion. Thine art is wondrous patient, and this poor slow climber needs thine art.
Why, once again thou art my wiser self.
To Caliban.
Go, lick her hand, and feed from it.
Caliban, laying his cheek on Miranda's hand, weeps with great sobs.
Spring i' the air, thy dew dabbleth my face. O wonder, what art thou that fillest so mine eyes with rain shine?
April, not I, can conjure spring in the air, and April plies rarest art in England. Ariel, fetch us from out my father's dreamery, nature's spring charm and echo of English song.
To the spirits of Ariel.
Our greenwood cloth, come, busk him merry men all. Aye, both of us.
Caliban rapturously.
This time I will not fail thee.
Miranda to Prospero, indicating Caliban.
Have faith in this fellow creature, and let these spirits clothe him anew.
As you like it, dear, be it so.
The spirits clothe Caliban and Miranda in green, while from within the cloudy curtains an unseen chorus sings.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and tune his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
Spirits within, how?
The spirits run through the curtains at center and disappear within.
Prosper's hood broods now a dream of Arden Wood, where young Orlando, daring fight for succour of old Adam's plight, defies the greenwood company, but meets there with no enemy.
Caliban, by the throne with Miranda and Prospero, murmurs aloud.
No enemy.
As Ariel raises his staff, the cloudy curtains part, disclosing the eighth inner scene. A place of dappled shine and shadow in the forest. No boughs or trees are visible, but only a luminous glade of color, where falling sunlight filters a swaying glow and gloom from high wind-stirred branches above. On the edges of the scene, the semi-obscurity half conceals forms of the forest company, Jacques, the Duke, etc., who, seated about their noontime meal, sing their chorus.
Who doth ambition shun, and loves to live i' the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
Enter Orlando with his sword drawn. Orlando fiercely.
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Nor shall not, till necessity be served.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things have been saddest here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time, if ever you have looked on better days, if ever been where bells have knolled to church, if ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, and known what is to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I bless, and hide my sword.
True it is that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while, whilst like a doe I go to find my fawn and give it food. There is an old poor man, who after me hath many a weary step, limbed in pure love, till he be first sufficed, I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Exit Orlando.
Thou seest we are not all alone and happy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
Re-enter Orlando with Adam, whom he helps to support.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need. I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome, fall to. Give us some music. Sing.
Once more, as the chorus resumes the song, Under the Greenwood Tree, the cloudy curtains close. The music dies away within. With a strange dawning reverence, Caliban turns to Miranda and speaks.
I scarce can speak to thank you for myself. Like him, there you have furnished me food of pity, and a new world with no enemy.
You have none, save the blind storms of your own nature.
Those tempests are still now.
Prospero approaching.
So mine art hath power once more to calm? Good. Now the time is ripe, methinks, to rest awhile, for I am heavily weary, and will take rest from thought. Miranda, wilt come within? Unhood me for a brief slumber, and smooth my couch.
Miranda rising.
Right, gladly.
Prospero to Ariel.
And thou, too, one moment. I've more for this tutelage.
Prospero passes off right by the throne exit, accompanied by Ariel. Miranda, about to follow, pauses at Caliban's entreating voice.
Stay. What your pity hath made me cries to you, leave me not. Let me be yours.
Miranda wonderingly.
How mean you mine?
Your Caliban, your creature, your bond slave to fetch and bear for you.
I want no bonds twixt me and any friend. Nay, we are friends and free to serve each other.
Yet I yearn for more, I know not what.
What more could be more happy?
Here I crawled upon my belly, brute stuttering for you where now I stand, and pray with Prosper's tongue. His art hath bred within my blood a kinship with your kindness that cries, Miranda, thou and I are one. I know not how, I know not how.
You love me. 'Tis simple then. I love you, Caliban.
Caliban in a splendor of amazement.
Lovest me, thou? Thou wilt be mine?
Nay, truly you know not how. Love knows not mine and thine, but only ours, and all the world is ours to serve love in. I am not thine, good friend.
She goes within.
Stay yet. She loveth me, yet love, she saith. Love knows not mine and thine.
A voice from beneath calls deeply.
She shall be thine, Caliban.
Caliban starting.
Mine? Who saith that word?
She shall be thine.
How mine? Say.
Thou shalt fight for her.
Caliban pointing toward the cloudy curtains.
Shall fight? Nay, there. The youth put by his sword, for the other said, Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
Yet thou shalt fight.
Caliban springing forward above his cell.
What art thou?
From the mouth of the cell a flame-colored figure strides forth and replies.
War, thy father's priest. Caliban, remember Setebos.
Ah, Setebos. Comest thou once more with priestcraft to lure me back to him? Begone!
Yet not without me shalt thou win, Miranda.
Caliban fiercely.
Go!
War, returning within the cell, disappears as his voice dies away.
Remember war. Miranda shall be thy.
Miranda? Mine?
Ariel comes running from the throne entrance.
Oh, people, be merry! Great Prosper sleeps, and from his slumber sends thee the dream of fairy laughter.
Caliban darkly, amazed.
Laughter?
Ay, and English make-believe of antic elves and merry wives, to douse the lustful fire of old John Falstaff, laird to Windsor Forest. Our master deems thou hast learned art enough to laugh at apings of it.
Caliban still amazed but curious.
Laugh?
Ay, list.
Caliban stands on one side with arms folded and listens.
To Windsor Magic's oak now turn, there his fatty bulk in guise of the horned hunter Herne, big Sir John in ambush lies, where the counterfeited face troop along the forest ways. How his lust will cease to burn for the merry wives. Now gaze yonder by the oak and learn.
Ariel raises his staff. Parting the cloudy curtains disclose the ninth inner scene. The gigantic trunk of an oak rises in moonlight, surrounded by the glimmering purple of the obscure forest. Trooping from the left enter the disguised fairies, following their leader, Sir Hugh Evans.
Trib, trib, fairies, come, and remember your parts. Be bold, I pray you. Follow me into the pit, and when I give you the watchwords, do as I bid you. Come, come, trib, trib.
They conceal themselves. A distant chiming sounds as Falstaff enters, disguised as Herne, wearing a stag's head with great horns.
The Windsor bell hath struck 12. The minute draws on. Now the hot-blooded gods assist me. Remember, Jove, thou wast a bull for thy Europa. Love set on thy horns. O powerful love, that in some respects makes a beast of a man, and in some other a man of a beast.
Caliban listening intently near the edge of the scene.
A man, a beast?
Think on't, Jove. Where gods have hot backs, what shall poor men do? For me, I am here a Windsor stag, the fattest, I think, in the forest. Send me a cool rut time, Jove. Who comes here? My doe?
Enter Mistress Ford and Mistress Page.
Sir John! Art thou there, my dear? My male dear?
My doe with the black skunt. Let the sky rain potatoes. Let it thunder to the tune of Greensleeves. I will shelter me here.
Mistress Page is come with me, sweetheart.
Divide me like a bride buck, each a haunch. Am I a woodman, huh? Speak I like Herne the hunter? As I am a true spirit, welcome.
A noise within.
Alas, what noise?
Heaven forgive our sins.
What should this be?
Away, away!
They run off.
I think the devil will not have me damned, lest the oil that is in me shall set hell on fire. He would never else cross me thus.
Enter Sir Hugh Evans, disguised as before. Pistol as hobgoblin, Mistress Quickly, Anne Page, and others as fairies with tapers.
Fairies black, grey, green, and white, you moonshine revellers and shades of night, you orphan heirs of fixed destiny, attend your office and your quality, cry a hobgoblin, make the fairy oise.
Elves, list your names. Silence, you airy toys.
They are fairies. He that speaks to them shall die. I'll wink and couch. No man their works must I.
He lies upon his face.
Where's Bede? Go you, and where you find a maid that, ere she sleeps, has thrice her prayers said, raise up the organs of her fantasy. Sleep she as sound as careless infancy. But those asleep and think not on their sins, pinch them, arms, legs, back, shoulders, sides, and shins.
Caliban growing excitedly absorbed.
Ah, pinch them, saith.
Away, disperse, but till this 1 o'clock, our dance of custom run about the oak. Of Erne the hunter let us not forget.
Pray you lock hand in hand, yourselves in order set, and 20 glowworms shall our lanterns be, to guide our measure round about the tree. But stay, I smell a man of Middle Earth.
Heaven defend me from that Welsh fairy, lest he transform me to a piece of cheese.
Vile worm, thou wast o'erlooked even in thy birth.
With trial fire touch me his finger end. If he be chaste, the flame will back descend, and turn him to no pain. But if he start, it is the flesh of a corrupted heart.
A trial, come.
Come, will this wood take fire?
They burn him with their tapers.
Oh, oh, oh!
Ah, they plague him too.
Corrupt, corrupt, and tainted in desire. About him fairies sing a scornful rhyme, and as you trip, still pinch him to your time.
As they dance about him, pinch, burn him, and sing.
Fie on sinful fantasy, fie on lust and luxury. Lust is but a bloody fire, kindled with unchaste desire, fed in heart whose flames aspire, as thoughts do blow them higher and higher. Pinch him, fairies, mutually, pinch him for his villainy. Pinch him and burn him and turn him about, till candles and starlight and moonshine be out.
Falstaff, rising and pulling off his buck's head, cries out,
Oh, oh, oh!
As he is about to flee, tormented by the dancing figures, the cloudy curtains close. Caliban bursting into bitter laughter.
Ah ha ha! Corrupt, corrupt and tainted in desire. Mocketh me, mocketh me! Ah, a man with horns and heart of monster?
Striding fiercely toward Ariel.
He mocketh me, thy lord.
Ariel laughing silverly.
Why, 'tis but fairy sport for laughter.
Caliban with choking passion.
Laughter? Aha! Me too, thy spirits plagued and pinched to piping jigs.
Seizing Ariel.
I tell thee, smiling spirit, thy laughter scorcheth me with nettles.
Pointing toward the curtains.
And that hot bulk of lust hath made my loins to rage with boiling blood.
Ariel struggling.
Unclutch thy hand.
Not till I bleed that oil of laughter from thee, which lappeth me in flame.
The voice of war calls deeply from below.
Hail, Caliban.
Caliban, pausing, releases Ariel and listens.
Callest me war?
Miranda shall be thy.
Mine. Yea, now I am mocked to know myself, what rutted stag I am, and her, the doe I mate, my horn shall battle for, and be mine own, mine, Miranda.
Miranda, coming from within, right, raises her hand in gentle warning.
Hush thy tone, my father slumbers yet.
Showing Prospero's hood, which she carries.
He hath put by this hood wherein he sends thee here another visioning.
Caliban stares at her, breathing hard.
So, what now?
Ariel to Miranda.
He rages, mistress. Beware, he babbleth of war.
Why, then he conjures the dream my father sends, another picture, painted in jewels on England's ancient shield, King Harry by the high walls of Harfleur.
To Caliban.
So you may learn, good friend, how noblest natures are moved to tiger passions by a painting called Honour, dearer than their brothers' lives.
Why will he show me this?
Perchance that you, born of a tiger's loins, seeing that picture, may recognize an image of yourself, and so recoil to reason and to love.
So mocketh me once more?
Nay, never that. But let us look thereon and learn together.
Caliban starts toward her, but curbs himself, trembling.
Together?
Miranda to Ariel.
Hold his magic hood and conjure.
Ariel taking the hood of Prospero.
Image of strife may nevermore your like draw near. Pageant of long-forgotten war, appear. Harry of England, lo, is here.
As Ariel lifts Prospero's hood on the staff, the cloudy curtains part and discover the 10th inner scene. Before high medieval walls, partly shattered, to pealing of trumpets, appear in their armour King Henry V and his nobles, surrounded by soldiers with crossbows and scaling ladders. Standing above on a parapet, the king is exhorting them with vehement ardour.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close up the wall with the English dead. In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favoured rage, then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Hold hard the breath, and bend up every spirit to his full height. On, you noble English, whose blood is fet from fathers' war-proof. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry, God for Harry, England, and St. George.
The soldiers with a great shout.
Ho, God for Harry, England, and St. George!
As they leap forward to the blare of trumpets and begin to scale the ladders, the cloudy curtains close. Instantly, Caliban, seizing from the staff the hood of Prospero, shakes it aloft and shouts,
Ho, God for Caliban and Setebos! War! War for Prospero's throne, Miranda's shrine!
A booming detonation resounds and a roar of voices from below.
Caliban! Caliban! Hail!
From the throne entrance, Prospero, unhooded, hastens in, surrounded by the spirits of Ariel, bearing long shining lances. Mounting swiftly the throne, and joined by Ariel and Miranda, Prospero calls to Caliban, who, wearing his hood and lifting his staff, strides towards him. Prospero, his unhooded features revealing their likeness to Shakespeare's.
Who wakes my sleep with these usurping thunders?
War and I. Now Setebos returns, and thou art fallen.
A second detonation booms. Red glare bursts from Caliban's cell, and war rushes forth with the powers of Setebos, clad in his flaring habiliments, followed by the groups of lust and death. Bearing lighted torches amid the roaring of Setebos' choruses, flashing fireworks and bombs, they swarm upon the half-obscure stage. Led by war, the flame-colored hordes clash with the spirits of Ariel, overcome them, and take captive Miranda, Prospero, and Ariel. As war holds Miranda in his power, Prospero confronts Caliban, who, wearing his hood and raising his staff, exults before him.
Hail, Prospero! Who now is master artist? Who wieldeth now the world?
Hail, Caliban! Slumbering, from me thou robb'st my hood and staff which wield my power. Yet not mine art they wield, without my will. My will thou canst not rob nor ravish.
Caliban with eyes gleaming.
But Miranda?
Nay, nor her, for she is charmed against thy body's rape by chastity of soul. Thy will and war may break, but cannot build the world. And one, who bore us all within her womb, still lives to staunch our wounds with her immortal healing.
Where?
Prospero pointing.
Yonder, on the yellow sands. She rises now and calls across the tides of fleeting change her deathless artists of the plastic mind, mine art that builds the beauty of the world.
End of Act 3. Epilogue of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy MacKay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Epilogue. Where Prospero points, the light passes from the pageant of war to the center of the Yellow Sands. There, in mellow splendor, a serene female figure, rising majestic from the altar, calls to the thronging shadows.
Children of men, my passionate children, hark! Today and yesterday I am tomorrow. Out of my primal dark, you dawn, my joy, my sorrow. Lovers of life, you rapturous lovers, lo! The lives you clutch are by my lightnings riven, yea, are my flux and flow, like Setebos tempest driven. Yet from my founts of life, fecund divined, still dauntless lovers dare my dark tribunal, building a common shrine to hold their love communal. So out of war upblooms unconquered art. Blind forces rage, but masters rise to mold them. Soldiers and kings depart, time's artists still behold them.
As the spirit of time ceases to speak, the light passes to the entrances of the Greek ground circle, where now from either side enters a pageant of the great theatres of the world, from the ancient theatre of Dionysus to the Comédie Française, in symbolic groups with their distinctive banners and insignia. The names of these are blazoned on their group standards, and the groups themselves, like those that follow, are announced from either end of the high balcony above the inner stage by two spirit trumpeters, the one beneath a glowing disk of the sun, the other beneath a sickle moon. While these below have ranged themselves on the ground circle and steps above, the groups of war, lust, and death have dwindled away in the background darkness, leaving only Prospero, Miranda, and Ariel grouped in light at the centre. Then on either wing of the stage, at right and left, appears luminous a colossal masque, the one of tragedy, the other of comedy. Through the mouths of these now come forth in national pageant groups the creators of the art of the theatre from antiquity to the verge of the living present, the world-famed actors, dramatists, producers, musicians, directors, and inventors of its art. First come the great actors in the guise of their greatest roles, from Thespis and Roscius of old to Irving, Salvini, Coquelin, Booth of modern times, the comic actors tumbling forth from the mask of comedy, the tragic from the tragic mask. They are followed by national groups of the great dramatists from Aeschylus to Ibsen, who pass in review before Prospero. Among these, with the Elizabethan dramatists grouped with Marlowe, Greene, Jonson, Beaumont, and Fletcher, and others, appears the modest figure of Shakespeare, at first unemphasized. For one moment, however, as Shakespeare himself approaches Prospero, he pauses. Prospero rises, and the two figures, strangely counterparts to their beholders, look in each other's eyes, a moment only. For Prospero, slipping off his cloak, lays it on the shoulders of Shakespeare, who sits in Prospero's place, while Prospero moves silently off with a group of dramatists. Finally, when these pageants of time has passed, and the stately spirit of time vanished in dark on the yellow sands, the only light remains on the figure of Shakespeare, and the two with him, Ariel tiptoe behind him, peering over his shoulder, Miranda beside him, leaning forward, with lips parted to speak. Then to these, out of the dimness, comes forth Caliban. Groping, dazed, he reaches his arms toward the dark circle where the stately spirit has vanished. In a voice hoarse with feeling he speaks aloud.
Lady of the yellow sands, O life, O time, thy tempest blindeth me, thy beauty baffleth. A little have I crawled, a little only, out of mine ancient cave. All that I built I botch, all that I do destroyeth my dream, yet I yearn to build, to be thine artist, and stablish this thine earth among the stars, beautiful.
Turning to the light where the three are grouped.
O bright beings, help me still. More visions, visions, master.
With gesture of longing he crouches at Shakespeare's feet, gazing up in his face, which looks on him with tenderness. With Caliban, Miranda too appeals to the cloaked figure. Miranda wistfully.
Master?
To her raised eyes he returns a pensive smile. Shakespeare as Prospero.
Child, our revels now are ended. These actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and, like this unsubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep.
Then, while the light focuses and fades in darkness on the pensive form of Shakespeare, the choirs of Ariel's spirits repeat unseen in song.
We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep.
End of Epilogue. End of Caliban by the Yellow Sands by Percy Mackaye.